Then try wind style. After ruling out lightning style and earth style, Naruto made a decision. Then, he made a mudra with both hands. Suddenly, the sea was covered with dark clouds and the sea was raging. This unusual situation immediately caught Uchiha Madara's attention. What's going to happen this time? Uchiha Madara's eyes were alert, and Susanoo's sword was in hand, ready to defend. And Naruto, with a slight smile, gently spit out the name of this move. Wind style unlimited Uzumaki. Bang! Lightning continued to emerge from the dark clouds in the sky, accompanied by deafening roars. But all this doesn't matter, there is no way to penetrate Susanoo's defense. What is that? Uchiha Madara's eyes widened in shock. He saw a mass of black Uzumaki suddenly appear on the sea near him and Naruto. These black Uzumaki swallowed the seawater, causing the entire sea level to drop a lot. And the flower and tree world summoned by Uchiha Madara descended, and under the raging of these Uzumaki, they were crushed one after another. What the hell are these? Uchiha Madara's heart was full of alarm bells. Although he hadn't seen how Naruto attacked, the momentum was already quite strong. Rise. Naruto vomited lightly, and the sea suddenly became calm. Except the sky is still cloudy. However, this seems to be the tranquility before the storm, which still makes people feel a suffocating feeling. Gudong. Uchiha Madara swallowed nervously. He could feel that something unimaginable must be happening under the calm sea. After half a minute of calm, a big bag suddenly bulged up on the sea. It was as if something wanted to rush out of the sea, but was blocked by the sea. The surface of the sea seemed to turn into a bubble. It bulged high, but in the end it was pierced by the huge force from below. Boom! A huge and thick column of water rushes into the sky. The diameter of this water column is not worse than that of Susanoo. And this kind of water column, there are thousands of them. With a huge force, everything on the bottom of the sea was swept into the sky. It's all so spectacular. However, Uchiha Madara revealed a strange expression. What is this? Is there a fountain show? Uchiha Madara couldn't figure out how Naruto was going to attack him in these ways. To this, Naruto just smiled lightly. This is of course the beginning. The real appetizers are just beginning. Snapped. Naruto snapped his fingers. Subsequently, wind appeared. First, there was a ray of majesty. Then, it turned into a howling wind. The wind force instantly exceeded a dozen levels. The strong wind directly distorts these water columns. And this strong wind forms a closed loop under Naruto's control, that is to say, it keeps turning in circles. This also caused those water columns to be rolled together, and finally formed a huge waterspout. As for Susanoo of Uchiha Madara, the whole thing was directly trapped in the Minister of the Water Dragon circle. Now, Uchiha Madara raised his vigilance to the limit instantly. If it's just wind style using the power of these water currents, Uchiha Madara is confident that his Susanoo will definitely be able to block it. However, Uchiha Madara felt that Naruto spent a lot of time to make these, and the way of attack would definitely not be so simple. The wind has to continue to strengthen. Naruto stretched out his index finger and drew circles in the air. And as he continued to draw circles, the wind speed also continued to increase. This also caused the speed of the waterspout to become even more powerful. Finally, under the strong wind, a force zone belonging to the wind appeared. Cutting. The strong wind that rotates too fast not only produces wind blades with amazing cutting power, but also makes the water flow dangerous. The whole waterspout directly becomes a meat grinder. Anything inside will take millions of cut damage in an instant. Uchiha Madara saw that her Susanoo was constantly being attacked, and the chakra in her body was passing away at an extremely fast speed. If it goes on like this, even he can't bear it. No. This waterspout must be destroyed. Uchiha Madara immediately realized the seriousness of the matter. Planetary devastation. Several black chakra balls appeared, releasing powerful suction immediately. The appearance of different directions immediately made the waterspout chaotic. This directly caused the thread of waterspouts to plummet. Feeling the sudden drop in pressure, Uchiha Madara couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, if it is later, the chakra in the body may not be enough. In itself, maintaining such a huge Susanoo is also a big burden for Uchiha Madara. But against Naruto, Uchiha Madara felt that he could never be too careful. There is no way to go on like this waterspout must be destroyed. Uchiha Madara frowned. Although these planetary devastations slow down the waterspout. But this is not a long-term solution. Planetary devastation has a duration. When the duration is up, the power of the waterspout will immediately return to its original state, and even be further improved. Uchiha Madara could feel that the power of the waterspout would only get stronger and stronger until it destroyed everything inside. To be honest, in terms of efficiency, the water dragon is obviously a huge waste for chakra. Not only does it take a lot of preparation, but it also has to trap the enemy inside the tornado. Although, the scope of the waterspout is extremely wide, basically there is no possibility of escaping from. However, it is obvious that this kind of ninjutsu, which is time-consuming and labor-intensive, and has a high failure rate, can only be regarded as gaudy in the eyes of Uchiha Madara. Ninja's ninjutsu is naturally based on killing the target or controlling the target. And above all efficiency, it is obviously very inappropriate to waste chakra's behavior like this. However, Naruto's chakra is much, and it doesn't matter if it is wasted. The physique of the Uzumaki family, and the chakra that Kurama in the body can provide in full, allows Naruto to squander chakra wantonly. After all, the tailed beast's chakra is infinite. Since it is an infinite thing, no matter how much it is consumed, it must still be infinite. That's why Naruto was able to make some of this bells and whistles. No way, it seems that this is the only way to do it. Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth, then opened her hands. Susanoo followed him, opening her hands. Super Shenluo Tianjung. Uchiha Madara shouted angrily, and the amount of chakra in his body quickly vented. Suddenly, an unreasonable thrust erupted directly from the middle of the waterspout. The sudden burst of violent power directly broke the waterspout from the middle. Has it finally been cracked? But I didn't expect it to be this way. Watching the waterspout being destroyed, Naruto stopped the supply of chakra. Uchiha Madara's cracking method was somewhat beyond Naruto's expectations. From Naruto's point of view, there are actually many ways to crack this waterspout, which seems to be massive but actually powerful. In particular, Uchiha Madara is still inside the more fragile waterspout. As long as the balance of the waterspout can be broken, the waterspout will naturally break down. But Uchiha Madara, however, resorted to a Super Shinra Tenge that consumes a lot of chakra to directly destroy the waterspout from the middle in an extremely violent way. But it cannot be said that Uchiha Madara did wrong. On the contrary, before the method of cracking the waterspout cannot be clearly perceived, this method of reducing 10 meetings with one force is actually more time-saving and labor-saving. Especially when time is of the essence. It's just that, this is Uchiha Madara after all. Naruto was slightly disappointed to choose this way. Huh. Uchiha Madara was panting heavily, and even he had to pant for a while after using Chao Shinra Tenji. After all, Uchiha Madara still maintains a super large perfect body in Susanoo. But, although he cracked Naruto's moves, Uchiha Madara didn't feel the slightest joy. Yes, just endless frustration, and the anger of being played. He is a majestic Uchiha Madara, a man called the god of ninja world. However, now he was being teased like this by a junior 70 or 80 years younger than him. How not to make him feel angry? However, it is also the huge age gap that makes Uchiha Madara feel endless frustration. I just went to the Pure Land for a few years, but Uchiha Madara found that he seemed to have a huge generation gap with this era. What exactly do you want to do? Uchiha Madara asked out of breath. Naruto frowned. What do you mean? The tricks you play. Uchiha Madara let out a roar. You obviously have enough strength to defeat me. Why are you teasing me like this? Why? Naruto looked stunned, and then said seriously. I didn't tease you. After all, you are called the god of the ninja world. It's the first time I'm facing an enemy like you, so naturally I have to be cautious enough. I must at least make sure that you have brought out all your strengths. Otherwise, if I was careless when I thought I could defeat you and let you take the opportunity to sneak attack and succeed, then wouldn't all my efforts be in vain? After a pause, seeing Uchiha Madara's puzzled face, Naruto said with a smile. So, Mr. Uchiha Madara, did you use your power? Nonsense. Of course not. Uchiha Madara roared, and at the same time the anger in his heart was reduced a lot. More feel inexplicable. Even though he is so powerful, he is still so cautious. Most importantly, Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto's serious face, and Uchiha Madara knew that Naruto was not lying to tease himself. That said, Naruto really thinks so. Although something is wrong, Uchiha Madara doesn't feel involuntarily happy. Snort. With an arrogant snort, Uchiha Madara restrained the hostility on her body and then said. Until now, I still don't know what your purpose is. Naruto frowned, and said with a different expression. You don't know? You don't know that you have been fighting with me for so long? I only know that you will become an obstacle on the road of my dream. Since it is an obstacle, it must be eliminated naturally. Uchiha Madara said with a face of course. Naruto shook his head helplessly, and said after hesitating. My goal is very simple, to unify the entire ninja world and create a world without disputes. You want to create a world without conflict? Uchiha Madara couldn't help but widen her eyes. Naruto nodded. I said that to other people who were there before, didn't you hear it? Uchiha Madara shook her head. I didn't hear it. No, I kind of remembered it, but my focus was on Nagato's Rinnegan at the time. So I didn't pay attention at the time. Naruto nodded and said. It's understandable. After all, the plan is somewhat different from what I imagined. Naturally, I want to let the plan go according to my own ideas. However, what I want to do is to unify the ninja world, so I can't allow anyone to be my equal. Do you get me? Uchiha Madara's face darkened. You want me to be your servant? HMPH. Not even Senju Hashirama dared to talk to me like that. Naruto looked at Uchiha Madara eagerly. If I don't even have this level of courage, how can I unify the ninja world? To suppress the entire ninja world. The opponent I will face is far beyond your imagination. Uchiha Madara naturally didn't know who Naruto was talking about. Uchiha Madara at this point doesn't care either. Already irritated, Uchiha Madara just wanted Naruto to see his true strength. Wheel Tomb. Border Prison. Swish. 4 invisible clones appeared. But in the eyes of Naruto who owns Rinnegan, these 4 avatars have nothing to hide. Uchiha Madara is naturally aware of this. His purpose of summoning these 4 avatars was not to use the ability of the avatars to sneak attack. Uchiha Madara is already going all out. Boom. A berserk chakra emerges from 4 clones. Immediately afterwards, there was an extra 4 kilometers high super large complete body Susa bowl. Woo. Naruto was slightly surprised, but that's all. The kilometer-high Susanoo is the limit of Uchiha Madara. But not his Naruto limit. With the continuous improvement of his clone team, his Susanoo height has already broken through 1,500 meters. It's just that Naruto likes to hide part of his strength and doesn't want to expose his full strength. Now, facing the siege of 5 can you still be as relaxed and free-hand as before? Uchiha Madara's eyes burned with anger. Naruto shrugged unknowingly and said. I'm looking forward to the moves you will use next. This means that you have used your best, doesn't it? Uchiha Madara's face suddenly turned red. This is just the tip of the iceberg of my true strength. You will see all my strength little by little. Shouting as if bravado, Uchiha Madara clapped his hands together. The 4 avatars immediately followed suit. Super Shenluo Tianzhong. Super Shenluo Tianzhong. X4. The huge pressure coming from 5 directions instantly made Naruto's Susanoo feel a huge sense of oppression. Naruto's face changed slightly. This was beyond his expectation. It seems that chakra is indeed not wasted in vain. This power is indeed very strong. Anyone who faces this pressure will be crushed in an instant. Unfortunately, it was me you met. Naruto raised his head slightly, with a confident smile on his face. In itself, the power of Shenluo Tianzhong is hard for ordinary people to resist. What's more, it is for the greatly improved Super Shenluo Tianzhong. The strong pressure from 5 directions can instantly crush anything inside. But Naruto not included. Susanoo outside Naruto was crunching under the pressure, as if it could collapse at any moment. But as Naruto opened his hands, he spat lightly from his mouth. Super Shenluo Tianzhong. At that moment, the incomparably violent pressure exploded from the center instantly. Not only did it stalemate Uchiha Madara's quintuple Super Shenluo Tianzhong in an instant, it even surpassed it in an instant. The berserk force directly pushed out the 5 super large complete bodies with a distance of more than 1,000 meters, and the sea surface was suddenly rough, and the waves were violent. How can it be? Uchiha Madara's eyes burst into disbelief. But the reality happened right in front of his eyes, and he couldn't help but not believe it. The reality is, Uchiha Madara has used 5 times the Super Shinra Sky Sign, which is not as good as the Super Shinra Sky Sign released by Naruto alone. The gap between people is so huge. For the first time, Uchiha Madara had this feeling. Usually, this feeling only appears on Madara's enemies. After all, apart from Senju Hashirama, no one was his opponent. And even Senju Hashirama couldn't give him that kind of shock. Damn it. I don't believe it. Crazy cries of Uchiha Madara. The 5 Susanos waved their big swords at the same time, and slashed at Naruto's Susanoo with a violent momentum. But this trick is still useless. Naruto just stretched out his hand, and once again resorted to Chao Shen Luo Tien Zheng. This time, Uchiha Madara's eyes almost popped out. You must know that Shenluo Tianzheng has a cooldown time. Not to mention it is for the stronger and wider Super Shenluo Tianzheng. As a result, when Naruto is used, it seems to be effortless, and it can be used continuously. This is impossible. Naruto stared at Uchiha Madara, who looked crazy and completely hysterical. Can't you say something else? After that, Naruto continued to block Uchiha Madara's crazy attack. And at this time, Naruto's mind is no longer here. Instead, it landed in a hidden place thousands of kilometers away. Whoosh! A dark figure emerges from the ground. He first looked left and right to confirm that there was no sudden attack on him, and then he couldn't help but cursed in a low voice. It's really bad luck. I've prepared a plan for thousands of years, and it will be destroyed by that kind of brat. Now-tailed beasts can't be collected, and Uchiha Madara can't be relied on either. I can only continue to wait. After Uzumaki Naruto dies of old age, I can continue to implement the plan. Fortunately, the Uchiha clan still exists, otherwise the plan will be greatly hindered. After all, the plan needs to use Sage Body and Fairy Eyes. Sage Body is okay to say. But the Fairy Eye, that is, Rinnegan, can only be evolved step by step through the Uchiha family, and the last step needs to be combined with Ashura's reincarnated chakra to evolve successfully. It can be said that the conditions are very harsh. Black Zetsu has planned for 1,000 years, and this time is the closest to success. If Uzumaki Naruto hadn't been born out of nowhere, his plan would have been carried out smoothly. Unfortunately, everything is just in vain. The current plan is unlikely to succeed. Black Zetsu can only continue to lie dormant, waiting for the next opportunity. At this time, count to come. Black Zetsu, who was cursing under his breath, fled subconsciously to the ground. But before he could escape completely, the sound of piercing the air had already come near him. Those are chains, chains of golden light. Adamantine sealing chains? Black Zetsu's heart trembled from fright. But it was too late for him to escape. Swish. The heavy chains directly trapped Black Zetsu, making him unable to move. Finally caught you. At this time, several figures of Naruto appeared in front of Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu was stunned, and then said through gritted teeth, "It turns out that what you did before was just deceiving me. The purpose is to wait for the moment when I relax, isn't it?" Naruto's clones nodded and said one sentence at a time. "Your mayfly technique is still tough, and it's so easy to get away when you're on the alert. Even if I foresee where you will appear in advance, there is no guarantee that I will catch you. But if you are careless, the response will naturally drop. This is our best chance of catching you." Black Zetsu struggled, but the adamantine sealing chains cast by Naruto's clone were too strong. It not only isolated the flow of chakra in Black Zetsu's body, but also tightened as Black Zetsu struggled. "Don't try, you can't escape," Naruto clone said. "For this moment, I have made a lot of preparations. Now, follow me to see the main body." Naruto's avatar hooked casually, as if an invisible hand grabbed the end of the chain, pulling Black Zetsu and forcing him to walk. Etc. Black Zetsu couldn't help shouting. "Who are you? Why do you know so many things? You are obviously less than 10 years old. It is absolutely impossible to know so many things. You have no way of understanding." Naruto avatar heard the words, couldn't help turning around and said with a smile. "You guess?" Black Zetsu froze for a moment. "I guess. Guess what? Guess why you do this? Will I still ask you if I can guess? Wait, you have Ashura's chakra on you?" Black Zetsu suddenly sensed the familiar chakra from Naruto's clone. "That is Ashura's reincarnated chakra. Did Ashura tell you? But he doesn't know the whole story either. At least not as well informed as you." Naruto clone smiled and said. "You should save these things and ask the main body." Saying that, the celebrity avatar pulled Black Zetsu involuntarily, and then stopped listening to Black Zetsu's words, flew up directly, and flew towards the position where Naruto's main body was. And Naruto, who was resisting Uchiha Madara's attack, couldn't help but smile slightly. Finally caught? It seems that this farce will end soon. Seeing the smile on the corner of Naruto's mouth, Uchiha Madara became even crazier. "Ah! How dare you laugh at me? I am Uchiha Madara." Uchiha Madara is crazy. He never thought that he would encounter such a thing. This dealt a severe blow to his self-confidence. But no matter how fierce his attack was, it was easily resolved by Naruto. However, Naruto's move, Uchiha Madara, needs to rack his brains to decipher it. This is really hard for the proud Uchiha Madara to accept. Right now, see the smile on the corner of Naruto's mouth. Subconsciously, Uchiha Madara thought Naruto was mocking him. Uchiha Madara fell into madness. He kept attacking Naruto crazily, even regardless of whether he would be injured by it. And this finally caught Naruto's attention. It happened that the Avatar had caught Black Zetsu and was leading him towards this side. Because the distance is too far, it will take some time. Don't waste your energy. It's just that this level of attack cannot destroy my Suzunohe's defense. Naruto said lightly. I think you should be very aware of this point. Damn it. Uchiha Madara roared crazily, and his face became distorted. Since childhood, since when did Uchiha Madara been wronged like this? Even when he lost to Senju Hashirama, he never felt so wronged. However, facing Naruto's Susanoo, Uchiha Madara is like a cactus without a flower pot in front of him. He has no way to start. Naruto's Susanoo defense is amazing. Simultaneously besieged by Uchiha Madara and his 4 invisible clones, none of them showed any signs of damage. Finally, even with the huge chakra provided by the Hashirama cells, Uchiha Madara had to undo the tomb of the wheel in the border prison, and also undid Susanoo at the same time to reduce the consumption of pupil power. Seeing this, Naruto removed his own Susan. Immediately, several extremely tall chakra giants all disappeared without a trace. Who? Uchiha Madara stared at Naruto, quickly thinking about how to defeat Naruto in his mind. But it's a pity that Uchiha Madara's intelligence is not very high, and he didn't think of any good way. Naruto landed slowly from the sky and came in front of Uchiha Madara. Have you given up? It's also a smart choice. Naruto said lightly. In itself, we don't have the need to fight to the death. Uchiha Madara stared at Naruto angrily. But compared to anger, he felt more aggrieved in his heart. Uchiha Madara has never fought such a frustrating fight. I will do it, and my opponent will do it too, and he is stronger than him. If he can't, the opponent still can, and the power is beyond his imagination. Uchiha Madara is really unimaginable. Such a pervert exists in the ninja world. What makes Uchiha Madara even more unacceptable is that this pervert-like powerhouse is less than 10 years old. What was Uchiha Madara doing when he was 10 years old? Competing with Senju Hashirama, who pees farther. This gap is too big. You've been teasing me from beginning to end. Uchiha Madara roared. Since you have such a strong strength, why don't you just kill me? Naruto looked at Uchiha Madara in surprise and said. Do you want to die so much? Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto coldly. Skills are not as good as people, and there is nothing to say about being killed. Naruto smiled and said. I don't intend to kill you. After all, a guy as powerful as you is rare. Uchiha Madara sneered and said. The strong. Compared with you, who can be regarded as keeping? Naruto shook his head and said. The world is so big, who knows? But, I really don't want to kill you, because it's more useful for you to be alive. Uchiha Madara frowned upon hearing this. You want me to fight for you? Although I think I am inferior to you, I am not a guy who is inferior to others. If you want to kill or cut, it's up to you. Saying that, Uchiha Madara closed his eyes. Anyway, I can't beat it, so I just put it badly. This gave Naruto a headache. Actually, our interests are the same. I unify the ninja world to let the ninja world have real peace, and your goal is nothing more than that. Why? So we can totally cooperate. Uchiha Madara frowned, opened his eyes and said. Cooperation? With your strength, where else do you need my help? Naruto shook his head and said. Even if I unify the entire ninja world, I am only one person after all. If you want to ensure the restoration of peace in the entire ninja world, you need a large number of like-minded and powerful experts to sit in one side. Only in this way can we ensure that peace will really come. Here, Naruto lied. In fact, as far as his observation Haki and the 3000 Clone Brigade are concerned, they can completely cover the entire ninja world. No sign of trouble could escape Naruto's perception. Especially Naruto's observation Haki can be improved all the time. At that time, he will be able to monitor the entire ninja world by himself, and there is no need for so-called strong men to sit in charge. But, one more free labor, why not? And still use wood-style labor. At that time, things like improving the ninja world environment can also be used. Why not do it? But after hearing Naruto's words, Uchiha Madara frowned. HMPH. After implementing Project Tsuki no Mi according to my plan to hypnosis everyone, they will all enter a perfect world without disputes. There's no need to be as troublesome as you are. Naruto smiled and said, if your Project Tsuki no Mi is really so perfect, then you think I am also pursuing peace in the ninja world, why not join you? Uchiha Madara said as a matter of course, because you don't know Project Tsuki no Mi. This is a plan that only I know about. Naruto shook his head with a smile and said, actually, I know more about Project Tsuki no Mi than you do. Impossible. Uchiha Madara shook his head subconsciously, but seeing Rinnegan in Naruto's eyes, he hesitated again. Wait, have you seen the stele under Nanhi Shrine? Naruto sneered disdainfully. Who would watch something like that? It has been tampered with beyond recognition. Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto in shock. What did you just say? Tampering. The stele has been tampered with. At this moment, Uchiha Madara just wanted to fly back to Konoha and find the stele to see what was tampered with on it. The flustered feeling first appeared in Uchiha Madara's body. When is it considered to be changed? Who is considered to be changed? Naruto turned his head to look into the distance and said, as early as hundreds of years ago, the content of the stone tablet has been changed beyond recognition. As for the person who tampered with it, he will be here soon. Uchiha Madara followed Naruto's line of sight and saw only the blue sky and white clouds. Nothing else. Who's coming? I don't see or feel it. Naruto said lightly. It's normal not to be able to see them, because they are hundreds of kilometers away. But it won't be long before they show up. Naruto showed a mysterious smile. Made Uchiha Madara dumbfounded. Who the hell? Could it be someone I know who is still alive? Uchiha Madara was puzzled. The people he knew who were still alive should no longer exist. After all, if Uchiha Madara lived normally, he would probably be over 100 years old. It's not Orochimaru who can change his body at will and live. Considering the average lifespan in the ninja world, it is obviously impossible to live from the Sengoku period to the present. Not to mention, the content of the stele was tampered with hundreds of years ago. It is also impossible for human beings to live from that time to the present. Naruto smiled and said, when you see him, you will know. It's just that whether you really know him is another matter. Hearing what he said, Uchiha Madara was even more confused. What exactly are you trying to say? Naruto didn't answer, but slowly landed on the ground. No rush, it's not too late to talk about it when people arrive. After all, the actors haven't arrived yet, so naturally the play can't start. At this time, Senju Hashirama saw that the two were no longer fighting, so he came over. This is it. Stop fighting? Uchiha Madara glanced at the naive Senju Hashirama, put his hands on his shoulders and let out a cold snort, then turned his head away from him arrogantly. Naruto smiled and said, there is no need to fight anymore, but if he still wants to fight, I will continue to accompany him. Then let you play me in various ways? Uchiha Madara said with a sneer. I wouldn't do something so stupid, Naruto said with a smile. But you've done a lot before. You. Uchiha Madara was out of breath. Senju Hashirama hastened to grab Uchiha Madara. Wait. Madara, wait. Since everyone can sit down and have a good chat, then stop calling. Snort. Uchiha Madara went downhill on the steps passed by Senju Hashirama. I'll forgive you this time. Naruto glanced at him with a half smile, and then looked at the sleeping people not far away. Even Senju Tobirama, who is the body of impure world reincarnation, is asleep. Only Senju Hashirama, who has a strong affinity for wood style, is still awake. Is my ninjutsu not bad? I can subdue everyone in a large area in an instant. Naruto looked at Senju Hashirama and said, in this way, everyone can be subdued without harming anyone. It's a pity that this trick has just begun to be researched, and it has not yet been able to achieve precise control. Senju Hashirama stared at Naruto dumbfounded. This ninjutsu is already exaggerated. What else do you want? Uchiha Madara also said with a frown. What do you mean just started research? Naruto scratched his head and said slightly embarrassed. Actually, I just came up with this ninjutsu. This time. Both Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama's eyes widened. The mouth is also big, and I am not afraid that the jaw will dislocate at all. However, what shocked them was what Naruto said next. It's not just this ninjutsu, there are many others that came out of a sudden whim. These ninjutsu still have various shortcomings, and they still need to be perfected as much as possible. Uchiha Madara couldn't help but said, "Which ninjutsu did you start with?" Naruto said, "It started with the ninjutsu that gave birth to life after absorbing all the white zetsu. Although that ninjutsu is fun, I'm afraid I won't have the chance to use it in the future. After all, performing that ninjutsu requires a lot of life energy. Equivalent to the lives of 100,000 people can only be used once." Senju Hashirama nodded subconsciously. It really can't be used much. Wait. Birth of life? Senju Hashirama though saw the moment that huge creature was born from the bud. But he only thought that it was an incidental product of ninjutsu, and it would disappear after chakra was exhausted. Hearing Naruto's tone, it turned out to be a creature? A living, thinking creature. And what kind of power will a creature that has absorbed the life energy equivalent to 100,000 people have? Senju Hashirama couldn't imagine it at all. Uchiha Madara looked at Naruto with a complicated expression, and couldn't help asking. "Then how many whims do you still have now?" Naruto thought carefully and said. "There are many more, but there is no need to cast them now. After all, there is no suitable opponent." Uchiha Madara opened his mouth and wanted to say, "I will be your opponent." But after thinking about it, he took back the idea. "I'll get them up first." Naruto looked at the sleeping people in the distance and said, "If you continue to let them sleep, it will be bad for your health. Especially those of my classmates, when they are still growing, they have to pay more attention." Snapped. He snapped his fingers lightly. It was as if the snot bubble had been burst. The sleeping people opened their eyes one after another, and then stretched out comfortably. "I seem to have a dream. A dream that I'm eating a really delicious bone with Akamaru." With saliva remaining at the corner of Fang Ya's mouth, he said with a confused face. "Well, I also had a dream, dreaming that I had researched the ultimate parasite and became everyone's pride." Shino also followed suit, but the others apparently didn't hear what he was saying. No one even responded to him. "I had a dream too. I dreamed that Naruto-kun and I were walking towards that sacred auditorium." Little Sakura's face was full of yearning. Then he was slapped on the forehead with a blunt slap by Ino. "Stop daydreaming. It's impossible, wide forehead. Ah. I'm going to kill you, Ino pig." The little Sakura threw Ino down frantically, and the two of them rolled together on the ground immediately. Hinata's face was rosy, and there was a happy smile on the corner of her mouth, but her eyes were extremely shy. Apparently, she was dreaming too, and the content of the dream made her very happy, but it was hard to tell. "Looks like everyone had a sweet dream." Shikamaru scratched his head, looked at Choji and said, "You guys must be dreaming of eating unlimited barbecue." Choji immediately gave a thumbs up. "As expected of you, Shikamaru." Sasuke stood up, his eyes immediately searched for a target. After seeing Naruto not far away, Sasuke's eyes flickered with scorching flames. Oh. Shao Li stretched himself like a carp, and jumped up from the ground nimbly. "I feel the blood of youth surging. I dreamed that I became the strongest gym master. Although it's just a dream, but I will take this dream as my goal and keep working hard. Burn. My youth." Tianshan silently covered her cheeks. "Oh, I can't stand this guy." Neji stood up, touched his forehead involuntarily, and said nothing. Conan on the side helped Pain to get up, and looked at this group of lively young army girls with a hint of envy. "So good. Kakashi, who was leading the ninja army to the snow country, suddenly looked up. Asked the might guy on the side, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, maybe I'm dazzled." Kakashi lowered his head and said, "I thought I saw Naruto. However, Naruto should be in the land of rain at this time, and this direction is exactly the direction to go to the land of water. The land of water has been conquered, there is no need for Naruto to go to the land of rain." Snapped. Might guy slapped Kakashi hard on the back and said with a smile, "It must be that you are too tired, that's why I saw hallucinations. Why don't we take a good rest first? I just heard that you have been to the snow country, tell us about the situation there." Kakashi rubbed his hair and said, "That's fine, let's make preparations for you." On the sea. Uchiha Madara waited a little impatiently. "How long will we have to wait?" Senju Hashirama couldn't help but said. "Madara, you're always so impatient." Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, ignoring his good friend. Naruto just stared into the distance for 14 days without answering Uchiha Madara's question. And at this time, there was finally some movement in the distance. Even Uchiha Madara was attracted. That's Black Zetsu's voice. Uchiha Madara couldn't help opening her mouth slightly, with a look of surprise in her eyes. Isn't Black Zetsu the will clone I created with Rinnegan? How was it brought here? Could it be that? Uchiha Madara didn't dare to think deeply. Naruto said with a smile. Okay, here they are. Whoosh boom. The tightly bound Black Zetsu fell heavily to the ground. After the Naruto clone raised his hand to greet the main body, he immediately fled away. After all, Naruto's avatar still needs to take care of the situation in the distance. It was just a coincidence that Black Zetsu was brought back this time. Black Zetsu? Why did you put him? Uchiha Madara said with a complicated expression. Instead, Senju Hashirama. This guy seems familiar. Senju Hashirama held his chin, frowning in thought. Brother, have you forgotten? When we were awakened before, he seemed to be by the side. Senju Tobirama, who came over, said helplessly. After such a reminder, Senju Hashirama immediately reacted. Oh. I remembered. But, what's wrong with this dark guy? Why did you bring him here? And he was still tied up. Senju Tobirama covered his face with a wry smile and shook his head. Brother, is it suspicious enough to be completely black? The others also walked over slowly. Xiaoqiang looked at Black Zetsu with curiosity on their faces. Like the Senju brothers, they only saw Black Zetsu during Soto reincarnation. Even when the people from the Shao organization were waiting for them, they didn't see it. Konan looked at Black Zetsu with an ugly face. Although Uchiha Madara didn't hear it, they all heard what Naruto said about the true origin of Black Zetsu. Thinking that this dark guy was the real mastermind behind the scenes, Konan felt extremely resentful. It is precisely because Black Zetsu keeps making trouble in the dark that they have such a miserable life experience. Naruto introduced to everyone with a smile. He calls himself Black Zetsu, the embodiment of Uchiha Madara's will, but let him tell you who he really is. As he spoke, Naruto looked at Black Zetsu, raised his chin, and motioned for Black Zetsu to cooperate. Black Zetsu curled his lips, turned his head and looked incooperative. Uchiha Madara said with a serious face. Black Zetsu. Who the hell are you? Why are you tricking me into claiming to be the embodiment of my will? Black Zetsu turned his head and said in a hoarse voice. I am the incarnation of your will, and we are all here to restore true peace to this world. Only Project Tsuki no Mi can truly achieve the peace you and I want. Uchiha Madara frowned. You bastard. Senju Tobirama squeezed his fist and said. This kind of guy only needs to use a little bit of tricks to know what to say on what occasion. If you don't want to die, tell me everything you know. Black Zetsu pouted. This guy won't let me go. In that case, why should I talk about my past? What's the point? Uchiha Madara frowned. Your attitude, you mean. What Uzumaki Naruto said is true. He knows everything about your past and your origin. Don't you want to refute it? Black Zetsu knew that he had no way out. There is only endless regret in my heart, and disappointment with myself. Mingming waited in secret for 1,000 years, planned for 1,000 years, but at the last moment, everything fell short. Now I was caught even more, unable to escape. Waiting for his own fate, Black Zetsu himself could not be more clear about it. That being the case, why does he want to count the sins he has done? That undoubtedly made his failure at the moment even more miserable. Seeing Black Zetsu's incooperative attitude, Uchiha Madara immediately knew that what Naruto said was correct. This Black Zetsu is not his will at all. Otherwise, how could Black Zetsu refuse Uchiha Madara's question? This is completely different from Black Zetsu's previous attitude. Who are you? Uchiha Madara's face turned serious. The others also looked at Black Zetsu with unkind faces. Don't be a fool, tell us the answer quickly. Sasuke said to Naruto impatiently. Naruto smiled, cleared his throat, and introduced the true identity of Black Zetsu to everyone. The undead who spanned thousands of years, the person who changed the content of the Sage of Six Paths stone tablet, the executor who manipulated Uchiha Madara behind the scenes to execute Project Tsuki no Mi, the promoter of many ninja wars, etc. Mostly, Itsuki Kaguya's third child, her will double. The title in front of him made others look at Black Zetsu more and more dangerously. But the last sentence left everyone at a loss. In particular, Naruto also emphasized that the last sentence is the most important Black Zetsu identity. DJ. Who is Otsutsuki Kagaya? Brother Senju and Uchiha Madara were a little dazed. Others seemed to be vaguely impressed. Remember, this guy named Otsutsuki Kagaya who seems to be the mother of the Sage of Six Paths. Could it be that? this dark guy is actually the brother of Sage of Six Paths? Now, everyone looked at Black Zetsu with surprise. Never expected that this dark guy would have such a surprising life experience. That's Sage of Six Paths. This guy turns out to be the brother of Sage of Six Paths. Having been exposed, Black Zetsu no longer had that dull look on his face, and said with a distorted expression. Those two traitors actually betrayed Mother. Obviously we can unify the world together. As a result, those two traitors betrayed their mother for the sake of mankind. The others watched Black Zetsu curse there, still shocked by Black Zetsu's identity. Compared to the legendary Sage of Six Paths, the strength of this Black Zetsu is too weak. No comparison at all, Uchiha Madara said suspiciously. This guy is actually the brother of Sage of Six Paths, but isn't his strength too weak? Naruto looked at Black Zetsu, said with a slight smile on his face. What makes him weird is not his strength, but his ability to confuse things and plot in the dark. Even if he changed the steel left by Sage of Six Paths hundreds of years ago, it makes you think that Project Tsuki no Mi is the only way to save the ninja world. But in reality, Project Tsuki no Mi is actually a huge trap. Naruto turned to Uchiha Madara and said, "Do you know what will happen once Project Tsuki no Mi is implemented?" Uchiha Madara hesitated for a moment, then said, "According to the records on the stone tablet, everyone will live in a carefree illusion world and will not feel any negative emotions. It's a perfect world. But you said it was the result of tampering." Naruto looked at Black Zetsu and said with a sneer, "Do you want to tell him the result yourself?" Black Zetsu hesitated for a moment and didn't speak. These people themselves are already very uncomfortable with his death. If the true purpose of Project Tsuki no Mi were revealed, it would be wiped out on the spot. "Since you don't say it, then I will say it for you," Naruto said with a sneer. Project Tsuki no Mi is to use the sacred tree to hang everyone on the tree as nutrients, and at the same time gather most of the chakra in one place. This is just the first step. When this step is completed, as long as another guy with a sage body and fairy eyes appears here, you can introduce that huge chakra into this guy. What happens after that? Naruto looked at the flustered Black Zetsu coldly and said, "Afterwards, the resurrection of your beloved mother, Otsutsuki Kagaya." Uchiha Madara frowned. Sage body and prickly eye? What means? Naruto explained without looking back. Sage body is Senju Hashirama's physique, and immortal eyes is Rinnegan. Who do you think is the most suitable for this condition? Uchiha Madara reacted immediately. "You bastard, you actually want to use me as a sacrifice to revive your mother?" It turns out that the so-called Project Tsuki no Mi is a scam from the beginning to the end. Naruto turned around and said with a sneer, "Finally know that I was cheated? So you still think you made those white Zetsu?" Uchiha Madara was taken aback for a moment, then thought of a possibility, and said in shock. "You just said that the eye of the moon will make people call it the nutrient of the sacred tree. Could it be that those white Zetsu were all before?" Naruto nodded. "Yes, those white Zetsu were the victims of Project Tsuki no Mi thousands of years ago." Little Sakura couldn't bear to close her eyes when she thought of those white guys. "It's cruel." Shikamaru looked at Naruto and said. "But Naruto, didn't you give those white Zetsu to?" Naruto said. "They are no longer human beings, more like some kind of living plant. And those white Zetsu are just subordinates controlled by Black Zetsu, it will only be a disaster to stay." Shikamaru nodded suddenly, looked at Black Zetsu and said. "So, what to do with this heinous guy? Just kill him." People turned their attention to Ming. Naruto shook his head and said. "It's too much trouble trying to kill this guy outright, after all he's said to be Otsutsuki Kaguya's child, rather than Otsutsuki Kaguya's shadow. It is not an easy task to completely eliminate the shadow. So, I plan to follow the example of Sage of Six Paths and seal him forever. In this way, even if our lifespan ends in the future, he will have no possibility of continuing to harm the ninja world." Nagato nodded calmly and said, "Nice idea." Black Zetsu looked terrified. If he is also sealed, then there is no possibility of Otsutsuki Kagaya being unsealed at all. "No, do not want. Don't seal me." Black Zetsu begged immediately, because he knew Naruto would do what he said. But facing his pleading, Naruto let out a sneer. "Oh, this is the price you have to pay. Just in the space of eternal darkness, go and confess what you have done." Planetary devastation. No, Black Zetsu was immediately absorbed into the planetary devastation. Then, Naruto flicked planetary devastation's black ball away. The black ball rose into the sky at an extremely fast speed, and quickly disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. This black ball will break away from the atmosphere, enter the universe, and continue to fly outward. There is no possibility of ever coming back. Having done all this, Naruto looked to Uchiha Madara. Okay, the troublesome guy is solved, it's our turn. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly and said, "It is absolutely impossible for me to succumb to your hands." Planetary devastation. Uchiha Madara burst out. At such a close distance, almost no one can guard against it. But Naruto just casually created another black ball, blocking the suction of the black ball in Uchiha Madara's hand. The others immediately avoided the fate of being sucked into the black ball fungying. But Uchiha Madara itself does not intend to rely on this trick to win. His purpose is to attract Naruto's attention. Then, Uchiha Madara threw the black ball over and retreated quickly. Planetary devastation's black ball cannot be ignored, even Naruto. Although Naruto is not afraid of the black ball, other people will be sealed in as long as they are touched. But since Naruto was there, he wouldn't let that happen. Go. He flicked the black ball in his hand lightly, and the two black balls collided immediately. However, there were no explosive scenes. Instead, Naruto's black ball easily swallowed Uchiha Madara's black ball. Planetary devastation also varies from person to person. Konan said anxiously. Naruto, Uchiha Madara has escaped. Senju Hashirama immediately chased after Wada. Naruto stood there without moving. Don't worry, he can't escape. And, the real battle is only now beginning. Naruto looked in the direction where Uchiha Madara was fleeing, his eyes full of anticipation. After a sudden inspiration, he took the opportunity to escape. Uchiha Madara kept looking back. But what made him feel strange was that Naruto didn't come after him. Why didn't you come after me? Uchiha Madara frowned, feeling something was wrong. Fortunately, he set a lot of traps when he was still running away. As a result, none of them were triggered. Either all of them were circumvented by Naruto. Either that or Naruto didn't come after him at all. Avoiding all of them seems unlikely to Uchiha Madara. Although it was a trap created hastily, it was an unavoidable trap in order to hinder Naruto's footsteps. So there is only one possibility with high probability. That is, Naruto didn't come after him. Could it be his elusive clones? Uchiha Madara was startled suddenly, thinking of the shadow clones who appeared under Black Zetsu before. Uchiha Madara felt a threat from those shadow clones. You know, that's shadow clone that disappears when hit. It can actually make him feel a little threatened by the dignified Uchiha Madara. This is simply impossible, but this is true. Uchiha Madara had to admit. Now he is far from Naruto's opponent. I have to think of a way to increase my strength by several levels. Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth, thinking quickly. Not to mention, it really made him think of a way. There. Now Black Zetsu is gone. Then there's no need to worry about Black Zetsu sneaking up on me from behind. Then I can catch tailed beasts and become 10 tails Jinchuriki. So I can reach the level of the Sage of Six Paths. I don't believe it. He Uzumaki Naruto can reach the level of the legendary Sage of Six Paths. However, the key 9 tails is on Uzumaki Naruto. I have to think of another way. Uchiha Madara thought for a long time, but couldn't think of a good solution. Forget it. Don't worry about it, just find a way to delay Uzumaki Naruto's footsteps. Otherwise, if you continue like this, you will be found sooner or later. Then this escape would be pointless. The figure of Uchiha Madara moved forward quickly, and ran to the interior of the mainland without knowing it. Huh. I feel a slight breath of acceptance. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly, and after confirming that it wasn't Naruto's breath, he quickly flew over. Then, he saw Orochimaru preparing to go to his secret base. I remember him doing a technique from that Tobirama guy, and we were awakened by that technique. Just right, you can use this technique to interfere. Uchiha Madara did what he thought and rushed over immediately. Orochimaru looked around vigilantly, and after confirming that he was not being followed, he opened the mechanism hidden on the rock wall. Amidst the rumbling sound, a deep cave appeared on the rock wall. It is one of Orochimaru's countless secret bases. However, Orochimaru had just taken a step when the sound behind him caught his attention immediately. Without looking back, he directly let his body soften, dodging the enemy's attack behind him. But Uchiha Madara's response is also extremely fast. The first move was avoided, and he directly changed his posture in the air, reached out and grabbed Orochimaru, and then rushed into the cave. Afterwards, the cave returned to its original state with a bang. So it's Uchiha Madara, aren't you fighting Naruto? Seeing that it was Uchiha Madara, Orochimaru immediately lowered his vigilance. It doesn't work if you don't let go. After all, if you can't beat it, even if you are always on guard, you can't beat it if you can't beat it. I need to execute a plan and need your help. Uchiha Madara whispered. How many impure world reincarnation bodies can you control at once? When Orochimaru heard this, he suddenly showed an evil smile. You're going to procrastinate. But what's the point of procrastinating? Seeing how embarrassed you are, you must not be Naruto's opponent. It's no wonder. Uzumaki Naruto is a genius among geniuses, a geek. Even you and first generation are no match for Naruto. Uchiha Madara said impatiently. Stop talking nonsense. Are you going to cooperate with me? Orochimaru put his hands on his shoulders and said confidently. If you don't say what you plan to do, I don't care what you think. You bastard. Uchiha Madara gritted her teeth. But due to the situation, Uchiha Madara could only reveal his plan in the end. Orochimaru said suddenly after listening. I see, I didn't expect you to be able to reach the level of Sage of Six Paths. That's really exciting. Snapped. Orochimaru clapped his hands abruptly and said. I helped with this matter. Tell me, what do I need to do? Uchiha Madara said coldly. Didn't you just guess it? Orochimaru smiled slightly and said. I just said it casually. How many impure world reincarnation bodies do you need? Uchiha Madara said immediately. The more the better, try to find those guys with enough strength. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to spend as much cannon fodder. Orochimaru nodded. Don't worry, I must have a say in this aspect than you. After all, I have tried it many times, and it has been improved many times. Now I can control 100 impure world reincarnation bodies at the same time. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly. 100. The number is a little small, but we can't force too much now. You summon these cannon fodder as soon as possible to stop Naruto. I'm going to recruit Jinchuriki's position. After speaking, Uchiha Madara broke through the wall directly. Orochimaru looked at the sunlight and covered his face helplessly. It's really a waste of my base, now it's all right. But the base itself is about to be abandoned. Just take this opportunity and destroy it directly. Looking at the place where Uchiha Madara disappeared, Orochimaru couldn't help showing excitement. It's really exciting. What kind of strength will Uchiha Madara, who became Sage of Six Paths, show? Will Naruto be able to get his first win? No. I have to hurry up and get ready. After watching the sunset for a while, Orochimaru walked into the depths of the cave. There just happened to be some people who were suitable as materials. Impure world reincarnation is strictly speaking a life for a life. Use a fresh life in exchange for the short survival of the awakened person. For Orochimaru, preparing a living life is not a problem at all. Because he has a large number of experimental materials in custody, and he can take them anytime he wants. Very convenient. Let me see, which lucky one to pick. Orochimaru came to the prison area, and what appeared in front of his eyes were people locked in cages one by one. Naruto, is this really good? Shikamaru said worriedly. That's Uchiha Madara after all. Although it doesn't look like your opponent now, since he dared to escape, he must have a way to defeat you. Although I have great confidence in you, we can't underestimate the enemy because of this, can't we? Naruto smiled and said. I never saw him as an enemy, but as an opponent. But now, Uchiha Madara is not enough to be my opponent. After all, I can't even give my best. So, I let him go on purpose. Senju Tobirama frowned slightly and said. Are you going to let Uchiha Madara continue with the plan? Naruto glanced at Senju Tobirama in surprise, then nodded in acknowledgement. That's right, I think he did the same with me. Tooth suddenly looked confused. Wait, didn't you just say that their so-called plan is completely useless? Why is Uchiha Madara continuing to implement the plan? Choji also looked blank. Xiao Li clenched his fist with his right hand and hammered it on the palm of his left hand, and said suddenly. I see. Naruto must be trying to make Uchiha Madara go far away first, and then chase after him. I can feel the youthful blood boiling inside Naruto. Neji, Shikamaru and others covered their faces, and Muchin shook his head. Little Sakura gave him a blank look and said. You idiot. How could Naruto think like that? Didn't I say it before? Naruto wants Uchiha Madara to carry out the plan. Shikamaru thought about the general content of the plan, although all he knew was what he said through Naruto. You mean, you want him to bring 10 tails back to life? Naruto nodded, looking at Shikamaru's childlike face. That's right, as expected of you, your brain turns faster than others. Shikamaru said worriedly. Is this really good? According to that plan, in the end Uchiha Madara will gain the same strength as the legendary Sage of Six Paths. That's the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto, are you really sure? Naruto raised his head confidently and said, that's natural. When did you ever see me do anything I wasn't sure about? When I do something, I always think it through and then execute it. Just don't worry about it. Senju Hashirama frowned. So, what are you going to do now? To revive that 10 tails, you also need the 9 tails in your body, right? Will you hand over 9 tails? Inside Naruto's stomach, 9 tails pricked up his ears. 9 tails didn't want to go back into 10 tails. After all, it is not easy to have a body that can move freely. Naruto said with a smile, how can it be? But Uchiha Madara will find a way to solve this problem. As for now, we can only wait. When Uchiha Madara gathered all the other tailed beasts, he revived 10 tails and became the Jinchuriki of 10 tails. At that time, it will be the battle I am most looking forward to. Senju Hashirama sighed, looking at Naruto with a complicated expression. In this case, then you can figure it out yourself, we can't stop you anyway. But we'll be with you to make sure things don't change too much. Naruto doesn't care about that, as you please. At this time, Konan helped Nagato step forward. The next thing, we will not participate in it. Although Nagato's leg injury was cured by you, he has just recovered after all, and the nutrition in his body has not kept up. His body needs to rest for a while. We'll go back first. Naruto nodded and said, don't worry, as for Nagato's eyes, I will help him deal with them as soon as possible. No need to worry. Nagato himself is quite open about this. No, I don't need it now anyway. Lost those eyes, I found myself able to observe the world well. I've never felt this way before, it's a novelty. A pleasant smile appeared on Nagato's face. Then Konan supported Nagato and headed towards the land of rain. The rest returned to shore. It's not a thing to stay on the surface all the time. Might as well go back to shore, or go somewhere else. After all, Sleepy Leaf's conquest of the ninja world is still going on. The other 4 of the 5 great powers have surrendered. However, those small countries with a large number still need a little bit of conquest. At that time, there will only be one country left in the entire ninja continent. The country of fire. Naruto found a big rock, jumped on it and sat cross-legged, closed eyes. In reality, Naruto is sharing information with his doubles. In the positions of all the avatars arranged by Naruto in advance, Naruto immediately imprinted a map of the ninja world clearly in his mind. Let me see, where did Operation Uchiha Madara go? Naruto murmured in his heart, and started his own monitoring with some expectation. Oh? Did you find Orochimaru? Still trying to restrain me with impure world reincarnation? But this idea is right, and only the immortal impure world reincarnation body can delay my steps. Although, for Naruto, even the impure world reincarnation bodies, as long as they are copied into the planetary devastation, everything will not be an obstacle. But Naruto doesn't intend to do that. Uchiha Madara wants to delay time, and Naruto also wants to help Uchiha Madara delay time. Otherwise, wouldn't it be embarrassing to accidentally bump into Uchiha Madara directly? Until Uchiha Madara is ready, Naruto thinks it is better not to appear in front of Uchiha Madara. Leaving? It seems that they are ready to join forces. Uchiha Madara seems to be planning to go to Sanagakure. Is it because of the one-tail shrine of the tailed beast there? Uchiha Madara intends to send tailed beasts to the Gedo statue in order? Naruto sat secretly speculating. Before you know it, time flies by. After an unknown amount of time, Orochimaru came out of his secret base. But immediately afterwards, a large number of expressionless and strange-looking guys came out. Someone was covered in bandages. Someone is carrying numerous scrolls with them. Some people walk vigorously and gracefully. Someone was walking slowly, as if they might fall down and sleep at any time. Naruto roughly counted, there are about 70 or 80 people. There are some notable figures among them. For example, Second Tsuchikage and Second Mizukage, who have already lost in the hands of Naruto, and so on. There are also candidates that Naruto does not know, but after comparing their appearance and clothing accessories, etc., they confirm the candidates. Such as Scorch-style Hakura, Ninja Sword 7, Hanzo of the Salamander and other characters. Although they were all dead, no one dared to underestimate them because of this. Although they are all defeated players, and there are no opponents worth caring about. But if they are allowed to disturb Kakashi's footsteps, it will be a big trouble. It's Uchiha Madara who can think of using these people to slow me down. Of course, I've already figured this out. Naruto smiled slightly, sat on the stone without any movement. He himself doesn't need to move at all, and the avatars all over the ninja world can get rid of these guys. On the way to the snow country, Kakashi arrived at the border of the snow country with 3 teams. It's really cold here. Might Guy couldn't help but said. Kakashi's face was a little gloomy. Once upon a time, he had performed a mission here, and it ended in failure. This time, he will wash away the shame of the past, although the princess who needs his protection is no longer there. Asuma spoke with a cigarette in his mouth. This is a country anyway, can we do it with just a few of us? I don't know who Xuanjian also has some doubts. Indeed, the 4 of our teams add up to less than 15 people. Isn't it a bit whimsical to want to pacify a small country like this? Kakashi shook his head and said, if my expectations are correct, we didn't encounter many enemies, at most 4 people. After all, that guy is an extremely proud guy. Might Guy asked suspiciously. That guy? Kakashi, have you been here? Kakashi nodded. I came to carry out missions when I was young, but failed. Asuma frowned suddenly. It can make your mission fail. Even if there are not many enemies, it must be difficult to deal with. Kakashi said. That was when I was a kid, and I'm much stronger now than I was when I was a kid. Also, after Naruto's introversion, our strengths have all been raised to a higher level. Asuma and Shiranui Genma couldn't help but twitch their mouths when they thought of the time when they were educated by Naruto. Who would have thought that to be a Chunin examiner, one would need to be taught by a genin? But the most important thing is, they can't beat this genin. This is the most annoying. Wait. Something's wrong. Kakashi stopped suddenly and stopped the others. Everyone immediately pulled out their Kuno guards. It's kind of weird, Asuma said while smoking a cigarette. There is a peculiar killing intent, as if he can't control himself. Following the direction of the killing intent, they looked intently. It was a guy who walked wobbly, looked like a drunk man. But this person made everyone dare not underestimate him. I have a bad feeling. Kakashi frowned. Sudden. The man raised his head, revealing a pair of dark eyes. When they saw that person's cheek, Kakashi and others suddenly opened their eyes wide. Impossible. Isn't he already dead? Might Guy gritted his teeth and said. 7 ninja swordsmen, Asuma said with a serious face. Loquat Ten Zhang? I remember the intelligence said he was dead. Shiranui Genma took out the 1,000 books he was holding from his mouth, and said with a frown. Either there is a problem with the information, or this person is not that Loquat Ten Zhang. At least I didn't see his knife. Just when Kakashi and the others were wondering whether to make a move, Loquat Juzang, who saw Kakashi and the others, rushed over instantly. Careful. Kakashi reminded, and then quickly dispersed. At this time, he suddenly felt a killing intent coming from behind him. There are still? Kakashi turned around in surprise, and saw a tall and slender figure. It was Kurisaku Kushimaru, one of the former 7 ninja swordsmen. Not just him. The other 7 ninja swordsmen also appeared one after another. The only thing that gave Kakashi some comfort was that none of these people had their ninja swords in their hands. But being able to become the 7 ninja swordsmen themselves means that they are strong enough. Even without ninja swords, the siege of 7 Jonin-level powerhouses made Kakashi and others a little anxious for a while. If Kakashi and others are given enough time, it should be no problem to deal with these guys. But for the rest of their team, that's not necessarily the case. Fire-style great fireball technique. An abrupt voice came. Immediately afterwards, Kakashi and others felt that the sky in front of them was bright. Obviously the sky was covered by dark clouds before, but in the next moment, there was only endless white light in their eyes. And scorching heat. It's Naruto, Kakashi yelled in surprise. In his opinion, only Naruto can use such an outrageous great fireball technique. Is this still the sea-level ninjutsu he knows? This is simply the sun setting on the earth. The power is too scary. When Kakashi's eyesight returned to normal, the snow in front of him had been completely evaporated, exposing the yellow-brown ground. As for the 7 ninja swordsmen, they naturally disappeared without a trace, and must have been directly vaporized. But Kakashi didn't care, but looked around for Naruto's position. I'm here, Kakashi-senpai. The Naruto clone appeared behind Kakashi with a whoosh. Kakashi turned to Naruto and said, "What's going on here? I remember most of them were dead by the time of the Third Ninja War. Why did they all pop up all of a sudden?" Naruto clone said solemnly. This was done by Orochimaru. He learned the reanimation jutsu created by second Hokage Senju Tobirama, which resurrected many dead strong men. It also includes the past generations of filmmakers from various villages. We must now seal them all up so as not to disrupt our plans. Kakashi nodded quickly and said, "What are we going to do?" However, after Naruto's avatar finished speaking, he left in a blink of an eye. What Kakashi doesn't know is that when Naruto's clone says this, he means all clones, not them. This Might guy was dumbfounded. What does this mean? Didn't you say that we should help stop it? Why did you leave without saying anything? Asuma was also bewildered. He stared blankly at the big crater that was blown out on the ground, and his heart was filled with shock. If this happened to him, he would probably disappear immediately, right? Shiranui Genma breathed a sigh of relief. Forget it. I think we should tell the other troops about this situation first. At least in this way, we can have a defense, at least reduce some losses or something. He was very fortunate that the Naruto clone didn't take them to face those shadows from past generations. Shiranui Genma doesn't want to face Konoha's past shadows. Those are all inhuman-level powerhouses, far from opponents he can deal with. Kakashi and others did not get a response, and they could only continue to maintain the previous action in the end. That is to conquer the land of snow. As for Snow Country itself, there are only 4 people who can be called combat power, including Windflower and Rage. Among them, the strength of Feng Hua Fu Dao and his subordinate Jonin, the owner of Spike Avalanche. The remaining 2 ninjas have at best the strength of Chunin. Facing the golden duo of Kakashi and Might Guy, it was broken with little difficulty. The people of Snow Country immediately welcomed Kakashi and others with joy. Although, they still need to submit to Konoha, but Konoha is at least much better than this brutal tyrant who makes people miserable. The other side. Naruto's clone rushed to the next location without stopping. These impure world reincarnation bodies made by Orochimaru. Some are prepared in advance and set up in secret bases in various places. Some were just summoned, heading from his place to the guest. This led to the emergence of many powerful ninjas in the entire ninja world almost in the blink of an eye. And they're all dead. Just like the troops led by Kurenai Yuhi and Mitarashi Anko, when they attacked the country of grass, they were strongly attacked. Ah! The ninja who was attacked 24 let out a miserable cry. But the voice cut off quickly, as if being strangled by someone. After a puff of smoke, the attacked person was left with a shriveled corpse as dry as a mummy. It was as if all the water in the body had been evaporated. And a female ninja wearing cool clothes and sand shinobi forehead protector is next to Qianhu. Subsequently, who is she? What kind of ninjutsu is this? Yuhi Hong's face was serious. This kind of ninjutsu that she had never seen before really surprised her. I remember her as the Scorch-style messenger from Sand Shinobi. An old ninja looked equally dignified. But I remember that she should be dead, and her condition is very strange, and the color of her eyes is very strange. Yuhi Hong asked respectfully. Senior Maruyoshi Kosuke, what is this Scorch style? This old man is obviously Maruhoshi Kosuke, the existence known as Konoha's strongest genin. Once, Maruhoshi Kosuke received the guidance of second Hokage Senju Tobirama, and felt that his strength was not enough to be promoted to Chunin, so he stayed in the position of genin. This stay is decades past. He has become an old man, but still has no idea of promotion. But his water style, even Jonin may not be able to match it. Similarly, because of the long life, Shingu knows a lot of things. Just like the Sand Shinobi Scorch-style envoy Yi Kang who was killing wantonly in front of him. Her name is Yi Kang, Sanagakure's genius. You have also seen the lethality of this Scorch style, ordinary people can't even get close. But she died in Sanagakure's factional struggle, and died in 4th Kazekage Ross's conspiracy tour. It can be said to be one of the representatives of untimely death. Maruhoshi Kosuke said, stepping forward with a solemn expression. Leave her to me to deal with, you go and deal with the other 2 people first. Yuhi Hong and Mitarashi Anko looked dignified. Apart from Yi Kang, there were 2 other people who attacked. They are still not familiar with these 2 people. But the strength is very strong. Water-style great waterfall technique. Kosuke Maruhoshi sprayed hard, and the water flow like a waterfall rushed towards Yi Kang. But before the water flow got close to Yeking, it evaporated into water vapor in an instant. Water style doesn't work for me. Hakura shifted his gaze, and stared at Kosuke Maruhoshi with cold eyes, as if looking at a dead person. The other side. Kurenai Yuhi and Mitarashi Anko fought with the two unknown strongmen. Although they can't name them, the strength of these two people is very strong. Most importantly, even if Kurenai Yuhi and Anko kill them, they will recover soon. As if possessing an immortal body. What should I do now? The enemy cannot be killed, there must be a reason for it. Yuhi Hong and Anko were back to back, very embarrassed. Anko gritted his teeth and said, I'm not good at sealing, otherwise I can try to seal them away. Shi Hong's eyes brightened and said, leave it to me, and I will seal them up. Just when the two were about to act, sudden. The ground shook for a while, as if an earthquake had happened suddenly. Everyone can't stand still. At this time. What happened? Yuhi Hong and Anko looked shocked, thinking that the enemy had performed some kind of Wang Dan ninjutsu. But soon, they saw a scene like a flood. What I saw in front of me was only the flood that was rushing like a raging beast. Water-style great waterfall technique. At this time, a familiar voice came to the ears of the two of them. It's Naruto. Kurenai Yuhi immediately recognized Naruto's voice and felt relieved at the same time. If it's Naruto, it's definitely fine. With Naruto's mastery of ninjutsu, the flood may seem menacing, but it's sure to avoid them all. Maybe? When Shi Hong saw that the flood didn't show any intention of stopping, and was still rushing towards them with monstrous momentum, her heart also began to shake. Anko was even more dumbfounded, staring blankly at the flood scene. Am I going to die here? This water style is too exaggerated. Boom. Moment. The flood came rushing forward. Yuhi Hong and Anko closed their eyes subconsciously, crossed their hands in front of their bodies, and prepared to bear the impact. But after waiting for a long time, there were constant roaring sounds in their ears, but they didn't feel any on their bodies. Slowly opened their eyes, and then they were shocked to find that the flood spontaneously let them go, and all the Konoha shinobi people were not affected. But those two unknown strong men were swept away by the flood, and they were taken to nowhere. The other side. Kosuke Maruyoshi tried his best to avoid Hakura's attack, but he dodged and couldn't move for a short time. Seeing that Yi Kang was about to rush forward, a trace of regret flashed in Xing Tong's eyes. Unfortunately, I still can't meet Master Tobarama's request. At this time, the flood was coming. Under Maruhoshi Kosuke's shocked eyes, flood avoided him strangely, but instead swept Yi Kang into the distance. This ninjutsu. But why can water style be so exaggerated? This water flow, even 3 tails can't do it. This is too scary. Kosuke Maruhoshi stared dumbfounded. The most terrifying thing is that such a huge ninjutsu can be performed with such a subtle control ability. Is the person who released this ninjutsu a monster? How on earth did it work? Maruhoshi Kosuke is eager to see who is the one who released this ninjutsu. But it's a pity. At this time, Naruto's avatar who released ninjutsu has already run to the front of ninjutsu, sealing the swept impure world reincarnation bodies one by one. When the Naruto clones were busy sealing those impure world reincarnations around. Uchiha Madara has not been idle either. He came directly to Sanagakure in the Order of the Tailed Beasts. At this time, Sanagakure has not recovered his vitality. Because he was subdued by Sasuke in an instant, he was immersed in a depressed mood from top to bottom. Since then, there has been no Kingdom of Wind, one of the 5 great nations. Yes, just Sanagakure under Kazuha rule. Before breaking Uzumaki Naruto's rule, all they can do is surrender. Moreover, the power of the Uchiha clan has been fully stimulated, and it is already impossible to suppress this blessed clan in the future. Those children who awakened Mangekyo Sharingan by Naruto will become the mainstay of the Uchiha clan. And when the method used by Naruto is handed down, the entire Uchiha clan will always have enough strong people. Certainly. Nothing is certain about the future. But at least for now, Sanagakure has absolutely no ability to resist. They still remember how desperate they were at the moment when that tall figure appeared outside the village and defeated their trusted Luo Sha. However, what they didn't expect was, this despair will return again. And it's to an extent that they can't imagine. Sasuke's Susanoo was only 100 meters at most. But Uchiha Madara's Susanoo is as high as thousands of meters. This 10-fold gap brings more than 100 times the fear. Luo Sha fixed her eyes on Susanoo who suddenly appeared, and her eyes were bloodshot red. Damn Uzumaki Naruto, we have surrendered. Are you going to kill us all? Luo Sha obviously didn't know that it wasn't his Uchiha people who appeared here. After all, Luo Sha didn't know about the resurrection of Uchiha Madara. But soon, he knew. because Uchiha Madara appeared directly in front of him. "Give me the Jinchuriki of One Tail." Luo Sha stared at the somewhat familiar guy in front of him, and was taken aback for a moment. Then, his distant memories suddenly recalled why he felt familiar. When he was young, he once performed a mission and passed through the Valley of the End. At that time, he had seen this face before. Uchiha Madara? Luo Sha looked at Uchiha Madara in horror. "Impossible. You should be dead. How could you appear here?" Uchiha Madara frowned. If it was normal, he would definitely say something about Luo Sha's attitude. But now, Uchiha Madara is running out of time. He had to find as many tail beasts as possible before Naruto finished off the impure world reincarnation bodies, and bring the 10 tails back to life. Moreover, he cannot get the 9 tails in Naruto, but he has already thought of how to solve this problem. But he has to race against time. What a hassle. Uchiha Madara spoke impatiently, then the Sharingan turned, and the illusion started immediately. Luo Sha, who was in a trance, was immediately hit, and soon explained Gaara's whereabouts. Knowing Gaara's whereabouts, Luo is of no use to Uchiha Madara. He quickly found Gaara, who had dark circles under her eyes. And Uchiha Madara directly unlocked Gaara's seal of One-Tail Shuhei. Without harming Gaara's life, he directly summoned the One-Tail Shrine Crane. "My uncle is finally out." One Tail guarded the crane to escape from the sea of suffering, and before he could shout a few words excitedly, he saw a tall shadow blocking his sight. One Tail Shuhei looked up, and his face suddenly became dull. At this moment, Shuhei longed to return to Gaara's body. "Uchiha Madara? Why are you still alive? You should be dead." Shuhei said in panic. It knows that, seeing Uchiha Madara here, the fate that awaits him will certainly not be easy. "Come in obediently for me." Uchiha Madara is also unambiguous, and directly summons Geto statue, which is the body of 10 tails. Then forcibly seal the One-Tail Shuhei into the Geto statue. The One-Tail Show Crane, which needs to be used by all members of the Akatsuki organization for 3 days and 3 nights to absorb it, was sealed into the Geto statue in just an instant under Uchiha Madara. The speed is fast. Gaara, who was only 7 years old, stared blankly at this scene. He felt his body was in a state of incomparable condition, and he desperately wanted to sleep well. For Gaara, this is something that he never even dared to think about. Because whenever he fell into a deep sleep, the one-tail crane in his body would come out to wreak havoc. Gaara, who is gentle by nature, does not want this to happen. Even though these years of experience made him hate his father Luo Sha, he still didn't want to affect the innocent people in Sanagakure. "Although I don't know who you are, thank you." Gaara thanked Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara glanced at him, then looked away. He is in a hurry now, but he has no time to waste with a child. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, Uchiha Madara disappeared in place, along with Geto statue and Susanoo. All of Sanagakure looked at each other with gratified eyes. They didn't expect that they could survive. Uchiha Madara thought that what he did was not noticed by Naruto. But what he doesn't know is that the entire ninja world is now covered with Naruto's eyeliner. After Uchiha Madara acquired a tailed beast, Naruto had already gotten the news. "Hurry up, I can't wait." Naruto thought secretly, and continued to sit on the boulder and meditate. And at this time, Neji sounded a warning. "Someone is coming. There is a lot of chakra. This feeling, it seems to be a tailed beast. There are Jinchuriki coming." Hearing that it was Jinchuriki and Shikamaru, they immediately became alert. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama didn't care. It's just Jinchuriki, not enough to push the teeth. Naruto naturally didn't care. Swish swish swish. Soon, several figures appeared around them. And the most attractive thing is a guy who looks like a teenager. Although they looked like teenagers, Shikamaru and the others had solemn faces. They recognized the person who came, and it was Fourth Mizukage, who was also the person of 3 tails. But Fourth Mizukage should have died, so what appeared in front of them must be the body of impure world reincarnation. Thinking of this, Shikamaru and others immediately looked at Naruto. But he found that Naruto was still resting with his eyes closed, and he didn't seem to care about what happened here. It seems that what Naruto means is not going to make a move until the critical moment. Shikamaru understood Naruto's thoughts immediately. Tooth immediately said excitedly. "Then we go on our own, I don't believe we can't beat them." The impure world reincarnation bodies that appeared at this time were the former 3 tails Jinchuriki, the 4th generation who won the Citrus Yagura. And one of the former ninja Sword 7, Ghost Lantern Full Moon. There are also 3 unknown Kirigakure ninjas. The existence that can be impure world reincarnation, needless to say, must be strong. Perhaps. Senju Hashirama said. Do you need our help? Senju Tobarama said. Let's cancel the contract first, so as not to be suddenly controlled. Saying that, Senju Tobarama made a few seals quickly. Untie. Immediately. Senju Tobarama unilaterally cancelled the contract of impure world reincarnation. Senju Hashirama scratched his head and also released the contract. Here, Orochimaru can't control the Senju brothers. Forbidden technique can't be used casually. Senju Tobarama complained, but no one responded. Tooth said loudly at this time. Leave it to us here. If we can't do it, please ask the 2 Hokage-samas to help. Akamaru, we are on the way. Wow. Kiba and Akamaru took the lead and rushed towards Yagura, the most powerful Mandarin Orange. Ah. How cunning. Xiao Li had a look of pity, and in the end he could only rush towards the ghost lamp full moon, which seemed to be very powerful. Then leave the rest to me. Ning said lightly times, and then rushed out. It's really troublesome, so I'll leave it to you. Shikamaru looked listless and happy to be at ease. Choji quickly finished the potato chips in his hand. I'm here to help. Little Sakura Ino and others are behind and ready to support at any time. Wait. What is this? Suddenly, there was a scream from the teeth. Everyone quickly turned their heads to look, and found that there were actually 2 teeth. And the ninjutsu and physical jutsu used are exactly the same. If it weren't for the fact that the other tooth was the wrong color at a glance, they might not be able to tell which is the real tooth and which is the fake tooth. At this time, Citrus Yagura said lightly. Water-style water mirror technique. Naruto sat on the boulder and opened his eyes to see this scene. A gleam flashed in his eyes. Although it is now Rinnegan, the Sharingan's ability to replicate has not been lost. In the blink of an eye, Naruto has learned this water mirror technique. It's really interesting ninjutsu, if you use it to practice against yourself. It doesn't make sense. If you want to practice sparingly, using Shadow Clone is enough. However, it is still an interesting technique, and it is very easy to use against those miscellaneous fish. Naruto observed it, and found that the copied tooth could only use the ninjutsu that the tooth knew, and the power was the same. Immediately, Naruto felt that there was room for improvement. It doesn't necessarily have to have the same strength as the main body. It is obviously more suitable to eliminate the opponent if the strength is further improved or given more power. Thinking of doing it, Naruto immediately arranged some clones to start trying. In just a few minutes, there is a very gratifying harvest. It seems to be okay. Naruto nodded secretly. Then, close your eyes and put your thoughts into the distance. And here. Seeing that Ya was in a hard fight, he helplessly offered support. You bastard, you were full of confidence just now, but you were immediately slapped in the face. Really, if you can't do it, don't try to be brave. Fang escaped the attack of the fake body, Yinshin said. How did I know he would be such a rogue ninjutsu? It's exactly the same as my strength. Even Akamaru's ability is the same. Wow. Akamaru cried out in a grieved way. And the other side. Relying on his extremely fast speed, Xiao Li shuttled back and forth non-stop beside the ghost lamp full moon. After judging that the opponent could not see him, he immediately kicked from behind. Ghost Lantern Full Moon remained silent, but Xiao Li's powerful kick went straight through. It was as if what he kicked was not a human body, but a ball of water. Hydration technique. Ghost Lantern Full Moon said calmly, allowing Xiao Li to pass through his body due to inertia. And he raised his hands in a pistol-like pose. Water Iron Cannon technique. Beep beep. Countless water droplets with powerful force were fired like cannonballs. But Xiao Li's figure flashed, and at the critical moment, he escaped the attack of the ghost lamp full moon. Oops. Taijutsu is useless to him. Xiao Li's complexion became ugly. Among several people, whether it is Xiao Li's blasting technique or other ninjutsu, it belongs to the weakest level in terms of power. After all, Xiao Li's ninjutsu talent can be said to be quite weak. But Xiao Li's taijutsu is the strongest except Naruto. Even stronger than Sasuke. Assuming, of course, that Sasuke doesn't use Susanoo. It's a pity that the full moon who knows the art of hydration is undoubtedly the nemesis of Xiao Li's physical master. Leave him to me. After looking at it every day, he immediately stepped forward to make a rescue. Eat my trick. Tianshin instantly threw countless shurikens. Ghost Lantern Full Moon doesn't care. With the hydration technique, Shuriken Kunai can't hurt him at all. But what Ghost Lantern Manue never expected is that chakra with explosive ninjutsu is among the hidden weapons thrown every day. The moment these shurikens fell on Ghost Lantern Moon, a violent explosion erupted. Boom boom boom, Ghost Lantern Full Moon was blown into powder. But the impure world reincarnation body could not be eliminated, and finally the body was slowly recovering. That's not okay. Said in distress every day. I don't know the sealing technique. Neji and Choji, who happened to beat up 3 other unknown ninjas, were also a headache. Although they followed Naruto to learn a lot of powerful ninjutsu. But the sealing technique, that is really not possible. Leave the seal to me, Senju Tobarama said. The ninjutsu I know happens to be the seal technique. As a dignified second Hokage, it is obviously a matter of course to know 1 or 2 sealing techniques. Moreover, Senju Tobarama is best at creating ninjutsu. I don't know how many powerful forbidden techniques he created during his lifetime. So that later evolved into such a situation as follows. Senju Tobarama. Brother, I have studied a new technique. Senju Hashirama. Is it water style? Senju Tobarama. No. Senju Hashirama. Then ban it. The situation is so exaggerated. It can be said that creating one is a forbidden technique. Such as impure world reincarnation, multiple shadow clone techniques, flying thunder god technique, tandem paper bombs and so on. In addition to these, in Konoha's sealed book, I don't know how many forbidden techniques have not been shown. If Orochimaru is specialized in several forbidden techniques, then Senju Tobarama is the type who does whatever he thinks of regardless of the consequences. Just like impure world reincarnation, which was created to match tandem paper bombs. But Senju Tobarama at that time certainly did not expect that this technique would evolve into what it is now. It can only be said that good luck tricks people. Before these impure world reincarnation bodies recovered, Senju Tobarama stepped forward and took out a scroll and sealed it. Crisp and neat. Soon, the only remaining body of the attacking impure world reincarnation was Yagura, which had not yet been sealed. Moreover, relying on the copying ability of Shuijing technique, it actually put Ya into a hard fight. Yagura was surprised by Yagura's strength, and not only Yagura, but also Shikamaru and the others. Even though they are only less than 10 years old, they all have the strength comparable to elite Jonin. Even Hitaki Kakashi, the genius of Konoha village, became a Jonin at the age of 12, and Kakashi was not at the level of an elite Jonin at that time. This can't help but let Yagura lament that Konoha village is really full of talents. So even if it is under control now, Go-Fu Tinling also hopes to eradicate Ya and others. After all, Konoha's genius does not belong to Kirigakure, and the command room is hindered by Kirigakure. It's a pity that Yagura doesn't know that the current Kirigakure has been breached and has become the territory of Kirigakure. And he himself, because of this, got rid of the control of Obito, completely freed. Although, the real Citrus Yagura has already died, what Obito controls is just a walking dead. 8 trigrams 256 palms. With a sudden cold shout, a figure rushed to the side of Goju lost. The fierce attack fell on Yagura's body in an instant. Gentle Fist's acupressure technique immediately blocked the flow of chakra in Yagura's body, and he could not even feel it. Citrus Yagura immediately realized something was wrong. But Yagura is no ordinary man, he is Jinchuriki. Being attacked again, Yagura immediately turned into a half-tailed beast. Immediately covered with tailed beast chakra, the body turns into a red monster with 3 tails behind it. And the speed of all aspects skyrocketed, chakra rushed away the blocked acupuncture points at once. Neji frowned, and retreated immediately without waiting for all the palms to be punched. If it was an ordinary ninja, he probably wouldn't need him to strike a full 256 palms before he would have been seriously injured or even killed. In the worst case, because the acupoints in the body are cut off, chakra cannot flow, resulting in the inability to use ninjutsu. However, the chakra in Jinchuriki's body is not only his own, but also the chakra of the tailed beast. It is entirely possible to use violent means to break away from this control. There's nothing Neji can do about it. Jinchuriki quite restrained Gentle Fist method. However, Neji knows more than Gentle Fist. Since Gentle Fist doesn't work, let's try another trick. Neji will retreat quickly while making mudras with both hands. Burst. Boom. The chakra left on Yagura's body by 8 trigrams palms immediately caused a strong explosion. Even the Yagura who turned on the half-tailed beast was directly blasted. Although it would not be blown to pieces, it was directly blown off an arm and part of the body. Even Jinchuriki couldn't bear this kind of injury. However, Yagura is still an impure world reincarnation body, and even if it is fatally injured, it will recover immediately. Isn't it powerful enough? Neji frowned, and quickly distanced himself. Get out of the way, let me come, Tooth roared loudly. Neji turned his head and saw that Ya had transformed into a giant wolf. This is the combined ninjutsu of Kiba and Akamaru. Turning yourself into a giant wolf can greatly increase your own destructive power. With one tooth and one claw, the restored citrus Yagura was directly torn into pieces. This power is very, very strong, but it takes a while for Kiba and Akamaru to prepare to transform into a giant wolf. The main reason is that Ya is not yet proficient. After all, this is a secret technique of the Inuzuka family, and Ya has just learned it not long ago. The battered citrus Yagura is slowing down in recovery. At this time Senju Tobarama stepped forward, and Shi Shiran sealed Go Futian. So far, all the incoming Impure World reincarnation bodies have been sealed, and Naruto didn't even make a move. Naruto had already prepared for this. After all, they were all his companions who had practiced with him for a long time. Naruto naturally knew their strengths well. Therefore, Naruto handed over the matter of confronting the enemy to them with confidence, and dealt with the Impure World reincarnation bodies in other places by himself. Orochimaru, who was hiding in the secret base, frowned. He could feel that the team he had sent to deal with Naruto had been defeated without even touching Naruto, and it was the same brats he hadn't cared about before. Unexpectedly, the strength of these little devils is not weak. I thought that only Uchiha Sasuke's strength would be as outrageous as Naruto. It seems that these little ghosts who follow Naruto's side are all terrifying in strength. The speed demonstrated by Xiao Li, the explosive hidden weapon like a carpet bombing every day, Neji surpassed the ordinary Gentle Fist's 8 trigrams 256 palms and the amazingly powerful explosive ninjutsu. There is also the giant wolf transformed into Lien who just saw Ya's cast. Obviously, they should all be mediocre juniors, but because they practiced with Naruto, they are all involuntarily powerful. Orochimaru, who has been keeping his eyes on Naruto, has to admit that these little ghosts are much stronger than when he was young. However, the purpose of delaying time can be regarded as achieved. It seems that I did the right thing not to send all these Impure World reincarnation bodies to Naruto. Otherwise, I'm afraid all of them will be sealed. As it is now, it can delay the pace of Konoha Shinobi's conquest of other countries and cause some trouble. Also keep Naruto running. Wait. Why are there so many Naruto? Orochimaru finally noticed something was wrong. By connecting the line of sight of the Impure World reincarnation body, Orochimaru has discovered that Naruto appears in many places at the same time. Is this shadow clone or wood clone? No matter what it is, I didn't expect the strength of the avatar to be so terrifying. These former powerhouses are nothing in front of Naruto. Orochimaru was horrified to find that Naruto's strength was completely beyond his imagination. It's just an avatar, and it can easily suppress the once famous ninja powerhouse. And it was at the same time, suppressing at every location in the world. This is really, shockingly terrifying strength. Orochimaru's eyes lit up. As an agreement with Uchiha Madara. If he helps Uchiha Madara buy valuable time, Uchiha Madara will let Orochimaru have Naruto's body in return. Although it is difficult for Orochimaru to determine whether Uchiha Madara can defeat Naruto, if he can, Orochimaru can't imagine what the scene will be like after he lives Naruto's body. Intuition tells Orochimaru that Naruto's current body must be more shocking than the Hashirama cells he possesses. Hashirama cells were already the most aggressive cells Orochimaru had ever seen. But Naruto, who is stronger than Senju Hashirama, will definitely only become stronger. However, it is obviously not so easy to obtain Naruto's body. At least, the current Uchiha Madara can't do it at all. Looks like Uchiha Madara needs to get the power of all the tailed beasts. But Nine Tails is on Naruto's side, so it is obviously impossible to get it. Fortunately, I have a backup option here. If it works, there is a great chance of getting Naruto's body. Orochimaru excitedly stretched out his snake-like tongue, making people feel physically uncomfortable just by looking at it. At this time, Uchiha Madara went to Cloud Shinobi Village non-stop after obtaining the one-tail Shroud Crane. He needs to get the second tail of Cloud Shinobi Village back. If you can, it is obviously better to also catch 8 tails at the same time. I don't know if that junior named Orochimaru can delay Naruto's footsteps. I must speed up the speed. Uchiha Madara frowned, and accelerated towards the direction of the Land of Thunder. From below, the sound of battle was heard continuously. That was the sound made when the bodies of Impure World Reincarnation met the ninjas of Konoha. Uchiha Madara glanced down. Looks like a good job. Naruto will definitely not sit back and watch these Konoha ninjas die. He must be struggling to deal with these undead guys at the moment. Uchiha Madara nodded in satisfaction. When he saw a golden figure appear, this feeling of satisfaction became even stronger. I didn't expect to meet Naruto by chance. You just deal with these endless guys honestly. After I activate 10 tails with chakra of all tailed beasts and become Jinchuriki of 10 tails, the real battle between you and me will begin. Uchiha Madara imagined proudly, and couldn't help laughing out loud. Anyway, he was hundreds of meters in the air. As long as no one looked up, they couldn't see him at all, let alone hear his voice. But the elation soon dissipated, because he saw more and more golden figures, and on each of them, Uchiha Madara felt a huge chakra. How can this be? Is this a clone of Naruto? A clone also has a chakra comparable to a tailed beast. This is impossible. Uchiha Madara is unbelievable. Naruto's chakra is so huge. On the ground, he saw at least 10 Naruto clones. The amount of chakra of these 10 clones is comparable to that of the tailed beast, that is to say, the amount of chakra of Naruto is at least 10 times larger than that of the tailed beast. Although the chakra of the tailed beast is said to be infinite, it is because the tailed beast can constantly absorb the surrounding chakra to restore itself. And at the same time, the output that can be used is limited, and chakra cannot be used on a large scale. It's like tailed beast bomb, the strongest attack method of tailed beast. Although a single blow can destroy a forest, it's nothing more than that. Now Naruto, if you don't care about the power of ninjutsu, it is a breeze to destroy a forest. Going beyond the tailed beast bomb is even easier. It's just that Naruto doesn't want to do it. The greater the power, the greater the damage. At that time, the damage will be too serious, and it will be a troublesome thing to restore the landform. Naruto hated trouble, so he simply controlled it, concentrated the power of ninjutsu, and did not spread it out redundantly. No. I can't dawdle here. Uchiha Madara came to his senses and immediately picked up the speed. Naruto's avatars must be more than these. If there are enough Naruto avatars, I'm afraid these Impure World Reincarnation bodies will be sealed up soon. I must dare to collect all the tailed beast chakra before this. After all, this is Uchiha Madara's only chance of defeating Naruto. He will never give up. And what is Naruto doing at this time? Naturally, the doctor conducted an experiment using the water mirror technique that he had just learned. There are a lot of them here, so you can just give it a try. Naruto clone number 1 quickly found suitable targets. Judging from the amount of chakra, these Impure World Reincarnation entities that Naruto does not know are partly at the level of Jonin. What if the strength of the clone cloned by Naruto using the water mirror technique is doubled? Is the copy that fights instinctively stronger, or the copy that maintains its original strength? Naruto wanted to give it a try. Soon, the two parties began to fight. Water-style Water Dragon Bomb Technique. Water-style Great Waterfall Technique. Wind-style Vacuum Wave. Earth-style Earth Wall. All kinds of evasion techniques exploded suddenly. It can be clearly seen that the ninjutsu of the clones is stronger, but they lacked cooperation with each other before, and they all fight each other. On the other hand, the Impure World Reincarnation bodies cooperate with each other, perform compound ninjutsu, and forcibly increase the power of ninjutsu to fight against the replicas. The battlefield quickly became deserted. After a fierce battle, the replicas dissipated one by one. As for the Impure World Reincarnation bodies, some are intact, and some are gradually recovering. In terms of actual combat capability, the copied body is even better. If it's one-on-one, maybe the duplication with double effort will be stronger. But if there are multiple people, it is obvious that the clones that can cooperate with each other are stronger. However, what will happen if we continue to increase the strength of the clone? When Naruto thought of it, he immediately let the clones operate it. Another group of clones was summoned through the water mirror technique. And this time, these copied bodies are 3 times stronger than the main body. Now, the battle instantly became one-sided. The ninjutsu of the Impure World Reincarnation bodies, even if it is in line with ninjutsu, cannot resist the ninjutsu of the clones. One by one, they were continuously smashed into pieces. But because it is an Impure World Reincarnation body, the broken body is not recovering slowly. If this continues, it will obviously be endless. Fortunately, Naruto just wants to test the development effect of the water mirror technique. Once enough information is obtained, naturally no more time will be wasted for these impure world reincarnation bodies. Soon, these impure world reincarnation bodies were sealed by Naruto. And with a large number of Naruto clones dispatched, the number of impure world reincarnation bodies appearing in various parts of the ninja world is decreasing at an extremely fast speed. Orochimaru behind the scenes felt that the body of impure world reincarnation that he could control was decreasing, and his eyes gradually became flustered. Why were they all sealed so quickly? The dead I wake up can't keep up with the speed of being sealed. If this continues, once the body of impure world reincarnation is sealed, my situation will be in danger. Orochimaru's anxious forehead was sweating, and he accelerated the speed of awakening the dead, hoping to stop Naruto's actions. Even Orochimaru can't care less about being selective. Orochimaru didn't want to face Naruto himself. Even that Uchiha Madara is not Naruto's opponent, there is no way for him to survive. Even if Orochimaru is very grandmaster to escape, it depends on whose hands it is. If he was not killed, but directly sealed, then no matter how strong his means of escape are, it would be meaningless. To avoid this from happening, Orochimaru could only do his best to keep making more impure world reincarnation bodies to delay Naruto's progress. Even if the strength of these impure world reincarnation bodies is not strong, the interest of not being wiped out can make them contribute some effects. But in fact, Naruto didn't pay attention to the situation on Orochimaru's side at all. After all, Naruto was waiting for action from Uchiha Madara's side. Huh? It's close to Uwei Jinchuriki's position. Looks like we'll be able to absorb the second-tailed beast soon. Because Uchiha Madara absorbs tailed beasts, they release the seal first before absorbing them, so Naruto is not worried that these Jinchuriki will be life-threatening. After all, the tailed animal chakra in Jinchuriki's body was taken away from life and death, which led to the death of Jinchuriki. Simply removing the seal will not endanger Jinchuriki's life. But it is not so easy to break the seal of Jinchuriki. Only Uchiha Madara can do this kind of thing. After all, Uchiha Madara lived for a long time before he died, so naturally he also studied a lot of ninjutsu. Moreover, Sharingan claims to copy the eyes. After so many years, I don't know how many ninjutsu he has copied. In terms of the number of ninjutsu mastered, Naruto may not have as many as Uchiha Madara now. But no matter how many ninjutsu you learn, it doesn't have much effect in actual combat. There are only a few ninjutsu that can be used in actual combat. It's too slow to go on like this, let's guide it. Naruto felt that Uchiha Madara was a bit too slow in collecting tailed beasts. He simply planned to make a move and gather the Jinchuriki together. For him, it is obviously a breeze to guide these Jinchuriki to a certain location without anyone noticing. Is this the location of Uwei Jinchuriki? Didn't feel chakra from 8 tails, isn't it here? Uchiha Madara stood in the air, looking down at the peaceful Cloud Shinobi village. Because Naruto and Sasuke conquered 4th Raikage and Onoki in the Land of Earth, the Land of Thunder did not leave any exaggerated battle traces. Even Cloud Shinobi village as a whole is very peaceful. After all, the 4th Raikage has already admitted surrender to Naruto. Cloud Shinobi village, who advocates force, can only surrender naturally. Although there are still some people who have not seen it with their own eyes, they feel upset, but they dare not disobey the order of the 4th Raikage. And at this time, 4th Raikage also sensed a peak in the sky. Who is it? What a powerful aura. 4th Raikage ran to the top of a building, looked up at the sky with a frown. Then, he saw a small dot standing in the air. That, is it Uzumaki Naruto? No. The hair is not blonde, and it gives me a different sense of oppression, but where did such a strong man come from? Just as 4th Raikage was wondering, Uchiha Madara also fell from the sky. 4th Raikage immediately noticed Uchiha Madara's target, which was the position of Uwei Jinchuriki. Is the target Jinchuriki? Don't try to succeed. 4th Raikage rushed out quickly. Uchiha Madara rolled his eyes, completely dismissive of the rushing 4th Raikage. I can't beat Naruto, and I can't beat you, little bastard. Do you think I'm Uchiha Madara, a street punk? Get out. A huge palm appeared out of thin air, directly knocking 4th Raikage flying. The 4th Raikage is like a golf ball, it was blown away from a distance, and it turned into a spot of light in the sky and disappeared. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly. At this time, Many Cloud Shinobi ninjas had appeared around, and they were watching Uchiha Madara warily. Although they saw their raikage being slapped away with their own eyes. But it doesn't mean they have to watch the enemy do whatever they want. Because this is their ninja village, their home. Uchiha Madara looked around and said coldly, "Do you want to dance too? But I don't have that much time right now." As soon as the words fell, all the ninjas were immediately sent flying. It was as if an invisible enemy was attacking them. Wheel Tomb. Border Prison. Rinnegan power of Uchiha Madara. For those who don't have Rinnegan, it's a total dimensionality reduction blow. Because you can't even see anyone, no one will bother you now. Uchiha Madara said, looking at the two-tailed Jinchuriki who showed a frightened face. First Jinchuriki was knocked out, and then Uchiha Madara lifted the seal. A massive two-tailed beast appears, but then comes the Gedo statue from Uchiha Madara summoning. Then the tailed beast was absorbed into the Gedo statue without any resistance. Well, it's time to find the next one. When you're done, Uchiha Madara immediately flew into the air, and after identifying the direction, she quickly flew away. Only Cloud Shinobi Village, which is full of desolation, is left. The village, which was still intact before, has now been completely destroyed. Fortunately, there were not too many casualties, and more buildings were destroyed. Moreover, after Uchiha Madara left, several clones of Naruto appeared to treat the wounded. Even those who had just died were all brought back to life by Naruto. Once again, Naruto's miraculous medical ninjutsu was demonstrated. At the same time, it also created a large wave of favorability in the hearts of people in Cloud Shinobi Village. They who were still a little grudge against submitting to Naruto, immediately surrendered to Naruto wholeheartedly. And at this time, under the deliberate guidance of Naruto, the four tails Jinchuriki was guided into the lake where the three tails were. And this lake is where Uchiha Madara is headed. As this three tails and four tails? Uchiha Madara came for three tails, but unexpectedly there was a surprise. With a joy on his face, he rushed over immediately. Then I saw two huge tailed beasts fighting together above the lake. God help me too. This saves a lot of time. Uchiha Madara directly summons Gedo statue. Gedo statue opened his mouth wide and sucked three tails in. Seeing this, four tails Jinchuriki immediately turned and ran away in fright. But how could he outrun Uchiha Madara? The end that awaits him is naturally to be the ration of the Gedo statue. Now, we have gathered all four-tailed beasts. There are still 5 left. Although I don't know what to do with 9 tails, but that guy said he has a solution, so just trust him for now. Uchiha Madara was on his way to the possible location of the 5 tails Jinchuriki without stopping. The plan went very well. Naruto is happy that Uchiha Madara's plan to absorb the tailed beast went well. At this rate, it won't be long before Naruto is able to fight Uchiha Madara in 6 paths mode. In this regard, Naruto is looking forward to it. After all, after accidentally becoming too strong, resulting in no opponents in the entire ninja world, Naruto just felt too boring. Although Naruto is out of caution, so he keeps improving his strength. However, falling into the current situation where there is no opponent still makes Naruto a little distressed. As for the Otsutsuki clan that will come in the future? That's so far away. You need to wait until he gives birth to a son and the son takes the Chunin exam. I don't know that we have to wait until the year of the monkey. Maybe by that time, Naruto's strength has completely exceeded imagination. At that time, Naruto doesn't need to wait for the Otsutsuki clan to come, he will go directly to the planet of the Otsutsuki clan. He has Rinnegan anyway. If you continue to improve, Naruto's Rinnegan will definitely be able to use Wangchen Hirasaka. After all of Naruto's abilities can continue to be improved without limit, there is no limit. In the end, I'm afraid Naruto will become an existence beyond everything. Certainly. Then I don't know when it happened. Is someone coming over again? Naruto opened his eyes and looked sideways to the right. He could feel that several people were approaching at an extremely fast speed. Be careful. Another enemy is approaching. Before he could rest for a long time, Neji immediately gave an early warning. Everyone else was alert. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama also sensed that this was someone unusual. Whoosh whoosh, after counting the sound of breaking through the air, 7 or 8 figures appeared on the branches. It's true, there are some acquaintances. Senju Hashirama raised his eyebrows, and he saw several familiar figures. Senju Tobirama frowned. First Tsuchikage, second Tsuchikage, first Raikage, second Raikage, third Raikage, first Kazekage, second cage, first Mizukage, second Mizukage, third Mizukage. It's really spectacular to gather so many shadows together. Facing so many strong players, even Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama feel very tricky. After all, they are the impure world reincarnation body now, and they can't exert 100% strength. Although the other party is the same, but generally speaking, it must be the two brothers whose strength is suppressed more. Is it all shadows? Shikamaru swallowed hard, unable to believe what he saw. Although they practiced with Naruto, they are very powerful. But they are not yet a shadow opponent. Not to mention that there are 10 shadows appearing in front of them now. That's enough to gather 2 people for the 5 cages tournament. What are you panicking? Leave these guys to me. Sasuke is full of confidence. After all, it's Uchiha Madara he can't beat, and Uchiha Madara is much better than these guys. Against these guys, Sasuke is very confident. The shadows surrounding them did not speak. Because they are all in a state of being forcibly controlled, they can only act with their fighting instincts and cannot make any sounds. Swish. Dust escape boundary stripping technique. Second Tsuchikage was the first to make a shot, directly hitting Naruto on the boulder. Because Naruto is the person Orochimaru fears the most. However, Orochimaru is also very clear that the seemingly powerful dust gun is simply not enough in front of Naruto. The powerful dust escape light fell in front of Naruto and disappeared suddenly. This scene immediately surprised everyone, including Orochimaru, who was watching remotely. Why is ninjutsu ineffective? I know that Naruto will not die, but why does dust dunge fail directly? Orochimaru couldn't understand. This is also normal. Because this is the ability of Rinnegan, it's called sealing technique absorption. Being able to absorb any ninjutsu is a very strong defensive ability. Although feel free to shoot, with me here, nothing will happen. Naruto said to everyone indifferently. Simple words, but immediately gave Shikamaru their infinite confidence. That's right. What else do they need to be afraid of when Naruto is here? Don't be shy, just do it. With Naruto in his pocket, he is dead. They are also confident that Naruto can bring them back. Because they have seen with their own eyes how Naruto brought a dead man back to life. After no worries, Shikamaru and others immediately entered the fighting state. Even though Naruto was watching from behind, Shikamaru and the others wouldn't just rush forward regardless of everything. They are ninjas, and intelligence is more tested in battle. Intelligence about local forces, and how to hide your own intelligence. The more strength and whole cards you hide, the more beneficial you will be in battle. Certainly. It is limited to situations where the strength gap between the two parties will not be too large. A group of small powerhouses, Tuzi chose an opponent. Only Sasuke put his arms around his shoulders and stood there without moving. These people are not worth my shot, Sasuke said coldly. Senju Hashirama looked in amazement at the Shaoqiang who fought against many shadows without losing the wind and said. Konoha's future has these pillars, it's really reassuring. Senju Tobarama nodded, and then looked at Naruto sitting on the boulder. He knew that the performance of Shaoqiang was entirely due to the existence of Naruto. Although Senju Tobarama is not clear about the process, he does not need to know these details. In short, as long as Konoha is making little progress in accomplishing things that the two brothers failed to do at the beginning, the feeling of being with Rongji in his heart will make Senju Tobarama's heart extremely fulfilled. It's a very good era, Senju Tobarama said with a sigh. That's natural. Sasuke heard what Senju Tobarama said, and took it for granted. Senju Tobarama couldn't help frowning when he saw the Uchiha family fan clan crest on Sasuke's back. But as soon as he thought of Naruto, he restrained his hostility towards the Uchiha clan. Today's times are different from their times. At that time, they had a blood feud with the Uchiha clan. But the current Uchiha clan is part of the village. Now, everyone is moving towards the same goal, so it's not easy for him to say some bad words. Look, these children are Konoha's bright future. Senju Hashirama opened his hands and looked at the Shaoqiangs in the battle with hot eyes. Violent vibrations continued to appear around, and the sound of explosions was endless. Large tracts of forest were destroyed in the aftermath of the battle. But once it is within 50 meters of Naruto, all ninjutsu will disappear instantly. At least don't destroy the resting place. Naruto felt helpless. Fortunately, maintaining this level of seal is nothing to him at all. If he wanted to, he could easily enlarge it by 100 times. With Naruto at the bottom, Shaoqiang can naturally fight without scruples. With no worries, the others naturally let go of their hands and feet when fighting. The reckless Ya and Xiao Li rushed over immediately. Fang's opponent is third Mizukage. Akamaru. Let's go. Show them our new moves. Wow. Super Teeth. Kiba and Akamaru spun at the same time and rushed towards third Mizukage. But the third generation crystal just made a quick imprint, and then opened its mouth to spit forward. A wall of water appeared, blocking Yahida's attack. I'm waiting for these waters. Kiba, who was blocked from the attack, was not surprised, and came to the sides of third Mizukage with Akamaru, one left and one right. Akamaru. Swing and explode. Wow. Akamaru responded. Then the two of them shook their bodies quickly, throwing the water droplets off their bodies. However, after these water droplets collided with the object, there was a violent explosion immediately. This is the move that Kabuto Akamaru thinks of after every time he takes a bath. He has to shake his body to dry off the water droplets on his body. Inject the chakra of explosive ninjutsu into the water droplets on the body, and then throw the water droplets out in the form of hidden weapons by quickly swinging the body, causing an all-around covering attack. Although, because the water droplets are thrown away and the size is different, it is impossible to make a unity in power. But because the water droplets are too small and fast, it is very difficult to resist this move at close range. This is the new move that Kiba and Akamaru came up with. Boom! Violent explosions followed one after another. Cover third Mizukage thoroughly. A large amount of smoke and dust began to fill the air, obscuring everyone's sight. Shikamaru covered his mouth and said helplessly, "Yeah, this guy is really capable of tossing." Shikamaru lost his opponent's position all at once because of the mask of disgust. But that's okay, he had already set the trap. As long as the opponent dares to come over, he will definitely be hit. Sudden. Shikamaru felt the vibration from the shadow at his feet, and he knew immediately that the prey had taken the bait. Caught it. Is it there? Shikamaru turned his head and looked to his right. The two kunai thrown out casually penetrated the fog, and then there was the sound of stabbing the body. Immediately afterwards, there was a violent explosion. Now, the explosive ninjutsu learned from Naruto has made Shikamaru habitually put the explosive chakra on the hidden weapon thrown out. Can greatly enhance the power of hidden weapons. Even if the enemy escapes the hidden weapon, as long as Shikamaru and the others detonate the chakra on the hidden weapon, they can still pose a threat to the opponent. Shikamaru took the lead in solving the opponent, but the opponent was an impure world reincarnation body, and he would not die because his body was blown to pieces. This time, we can have a good fight. Although Shikamaru is lazy, he is still a boy in the final analysis, and he has the spirit of a boy. In the previous battles, he and others have been watching Naruto and Sasuke show off their power, and there is not much room for expression at all. Now, it is not a small challenge for them to be able to face the former shadows of each village, even if they are not the shadows of the heyday. Although relying on the other party's unfamiliarity with him, he has gained a slight upper hand. But compared to the shadows who have rich combat experience, Shikamaru and others dare not be careless. Moreover, there are not many opportunities to improve one's combat experience by fighting against cage-level powerhouses. Naturally, Shikamaru and others should cherish it. The smoke should obscure the other party's vision, but it has no effect on me. Shino analyzed calmly. A large number of parasites emerged from his body and spread around, searching for the enemy. His opponent is second Mizukage, a man who is also good at fighting with blinded sight. A man who likes to hide himself with a mirage. But for Shino's parasites, this kind of concealment won't work. Found it. Shino spotted his opponent's figure in the smoke. But his expression suddenly changed. In the next moment, a large number of water droplets shot out like bullets, penetrating Shino's body. However, Shino's body has turned into a large number of insects, but the real Shino has disappeared. At the critical moment, Ji now escaped the fatal attack through the insect clone. The enemy has also found my position. It seems that the parasite was found, and my location was deduced along the direction of the parasite. Shino, who was hiding, analyzed calmly. However, he doesn't seem to understand that my map bugs aren't just for scouting. It's also my strongest offensive tool. Saying that, Ji-Nai made a seal with both hands, and then gave a low drink. Burst. Boom! The violent explosion immediately blew away the surrounding smoke. Then Shino saw a torn body. But under the strange power, it is constantly recovering. Boom. A figure flew past Ji-Nai at a high speed. That's it, Li? Ji-Nai was shocked. There was someone more powerful than Xiao Li? Ji-Nai looked over immediately, and then understood why Xiao Li was inferior to his opponent in terms of strength. It turned out to be third raikage. The power of third raikage is naturally experienced. It's just that I just saw it, because it was Naruto who was fighting third raikage at that time, and they were just watching the battle. At that time they were not able to intervene in cage-level wars. But after fighting the people from the Shao organization, not only their strength has been improved, but their self-confidence has also improved a lot. That's why we were able to challenge these filmmakers with Naruto's backstory. As expected of the third raikage, the power is really strong. Xiao Li wiped the corner of his mouth, and immediately jumped up from the ground. It seems that in terms of pure physical fitness, I can't match it now. That's the only way to use it. 8 inner gates, Tianmen, Hu, Shengmen, open, hurt, open. Xiao Li directly opened the 4th gate, his entire body turned red, and his speed and strength were greatly enhanced. Whoosh! In an instant, Xiao Li appeared next to third raikage, and the wolf's whip kicked third raikage flying. However, third raikage relied on the strongest lightning-style armor. Even if he was kicked out, his body was not damaged at all. But Xiao Li's offensive was not over yet. He caught up with third raikage, who was flying upside down with great speed, and kicked him off. Then catch up again and hit again in the other direction. In this way, third raikage was like a ball, constantly kicked by Xiao Li in the air. This incomparable speed made it completely impossible for people to see Xiao Ji's movements clearly. 8 inner gates, this is a good thing, but it's a pity that it costs a lot. Naruto observed Li's movements. In the field, probably only Naruto, Sasuke and Senju brothers could clearly see Xiao Ji's actions at this time. 8 inner gates is indeed a good thing. Might Guy even almost kicked 6 paths moderate to death by virtue of the state of opening 8 gate. Therefore, Might Guy is known as the man who almost kicked the Hokage ninja out of the finale. But alas, such a powerful secret technique must also have very large side effects. The 8th gate of 8 inner gates is called the Gate of Death, which means that after opening the Gate of Death, it is basically equal to death. Not only that, starting from the 4th gate, as long as it is opened, it will cause a relatively large burden on the body. If it is turned on for a long time, there will also be a life-threatening situation. It is precisely because of this that not many people learn 8 inner gates, even though its improvement effect is amazing. After all, not everyone wants to be a 1-minute hero. But if the side effects of 8 inner gates can be improved, it will definitely become the last popular secret technique. It can be used to pass the boring time. Seeing that it will take some time for Uchiha Madara to gather the tailed beast, Naruto thought of using the clone for improvement and promotion. Others might not have a solution, but on Naruto's side, there's nothing his avatars can't solve. It's just a matter of how much time it takes. While Naruto was doing research, the surrounding battle is still going on. It's really amazing. When we were their age, we didn't have their current strength at all, right? Senju Hashirama said with emotion. Senju Tobirama also nodded, looking at Xiao Li, who kept flashing back and forth. Especially this brat. The 8 inner gates are used very skillfully, and just by opening the 4th gate, they have reached this speed. If it opens further down, my naked eyes may not be able to keep up with his speed. It's just that, as his opponent, the lightning-style armor of the 3rd generation's raikage is really amazing in defense. Ordinary people are attacked by this gang of young people. I am afraid that all the bones in their bodies will be broken. Senju Hashirama said with a smile. It's still the shadow of a village, and this boy is less than 10 years old. If the shadow of a village is killed by a 10-year-old boy. While talking, Senju Hashirama's smile disappeared. He really wanted to say that it was impossible for the shadow of a village to be defeated by a boy less than 10 years old. But think about it carefully, they seem to have been defeated by Naruto before, and Naruto is less than 1 year old. Senju Tobirama shook his head and said, the strength gap between Naruto and these boys and girls is still very large, just like the strength gap between us and these shadows. It is not something ordinary people can achieve. Senju Hashirama nodded. What you said makes sense. The surrounding battle was fierce. Over there, Xiao Li is using the speed bar 3rd raikage as a sphere. Here, Shino is playing with 2nd Mizukage Ghost Moon with explosive parasites. On the other hand, Neji was in a tough fight. Just because he was fighting against 2nd Tsuchikage, who had been eliminated by Bloodline. The Bloodline he possesses eliminates the Dust Escape, which is extremely destructive. Dust Escape Boundary Stripping Technique. Boom. The ground was immediately punched into a neat square pit. Neji dodges in time, but he is deeply afraid of the power of Chen Dun. You have to figure out a way. But if you get close, there is a risk of being attacked by that dangerous one. It seems that this is the only way to do it. Thinking of this, Neji immediately showed his posture. Gentle Fist Mystery God Kong Strike. Boom. At a distance of more than 10 meters, Neji was launched every day in the air. In the next instant, second Tsuchikage was sent flying by an invisible force. God Airstrike, an advanced version of 8 trigrams air palm. Compared with 8 trigrams air palm, it is more powerful and has a longer attack range, which greatly makes up for the shortcoming of the Holy Fist's weak long-range attack power. But this is not something that can be practiced casually. It can only be said that Neji is worthy of being a genius of the Hyuga clan. Relying on himself, he figured out this trick. So strong. Hinata covered her mouth, she didn't even know Ru had such profound meaning. Although she is the first daughter of the main family, she is still young after all, and Hyuga Hiyashi hasn't taught Hinata all the secrets of Gentle Fist yet. Although, the Gentle Fist of the Hyuga family has been changed beyond recognition by Naruto. But as a big ninja, the Hyuga clan still has a lot of hidden moves. I can't lose either, Hinata said with a firm face, and then his hands suddenly lit up, and a large number of chakra gathered to form the shape of a lion's head. Soft step double lion fist. Hinata's smaller body jerked forward, heading towards second Raikage. If second Raikage could control himself, he would definitely not fight the little girl Hinata, that would be too disrespectful. But at this time he has no choice. Being forcibly manipulated, he could only choose to attack. The lightning-style armor was formed on his body, but it was far less solid than third Raikage. After all, third Raikage's lightning-style armor is known as the strongest lightning-style armor. The two clashed their fists. Unexpectedly, Hinata was not sent flying. A small body contains great strength. He was able to hold a stalemate with second Raikage. Hinata is working so hard, so naturally I can't fall behind. As soon as little Sakura spoke, she began to look for her own goals. But before she took the initiative to attack, she felt someone attacking behind her. The little Sakura quickly dodged sideways, and left the spot in an instant. Then he saw that the person who attacked him turned out to be a big man. Damn it. You actually engaged in a sneak attack. You are still the shadow of a village. The little Sakura was so angry that she rushed forward with her little fists raised. But immediately after, Kage on the opposite side resorted to a fierce wind style, forcing little Sakura back. What a strong wind style. It's impossible to get close. Little Sakura said helplessly. But it's not just that he can't get close, he even needs to keep dodging those invisible wind blades. In terms of sharpness, wind style is extremely strong. Damn it. I can't make it through this time. Secret technique heart turn technique. Sudden. Second Kage's attack paused. Little Sakura looked across in surprise. He is obviously a rough guy, but he made Ino's voice. Little Sakura, I can't control it for long, you attack now. No problem. Little Sakura rushed over immediately, and then punched second Kage hard in the face. Before being hit, Ino had already lifted the spell and returned to his own body. Super Meat Bomb Chariot. The second Kage that was blown away was then concentrated by a huge high-speed rotating meat bullet, and flew into the distance like a meteor. This time I don't need to make a move. Shikamaru spread his hands. It was originally controlled by him, and then attacked by Choji. This time Choji and Ino teamed up with little Sakura, but there was no room for a shot. The normal sequence is, Ino controls the person first, then Shikamaru uses the shadow to bind the opponent, Ino takes the opportunity to return to his body, and then Choji is the final blow to end the attack. Shikamaru didn't cooperate with his little friend. But someone took the initiative to find it. First Raikage rushed over at an extremely fast speed with a big knife in his hand. However, just when the big knife in First Raikage's hand was about to be chopped off, First Raikage's entire body froze immediately. No matter how hard First Raikage tried, he couldn't move an inch. Shadow imitation. Shikamaru turned his head and looked at the sneak-attacking First Raikage with a sneer. Is this the only way for you Raikage to go on a rampage like this? You don't even know if the enemy has set a trap or not. Although Shikamaru has been following Naruto to learn this and that. But that doesn't mean Shikamaru forgot to learn his family ninjutsu. It can even be said that Shikamaru has improved a lot in family ninjutsu. Because a lot of ninjutsu learned from Naruto can be combined with his family's secret arts, 0. Play to the extent that 1 + 1 is greater than 2. Whether it is blasting ninjutsu, or Rasengan, etc., they can all play a very effective means of attack. Sudden. Shikamaru frowned, and then he walked away in an instant. In the next moment, first Raikage, who erupted with a large amount of lightning, broke free from the shackles of the shadow imitation technique, and slashed down fiercely with the big knife in his hand, smashing a big hole in the ground. If Shikamaru hadn't dodged in time, I'm afraid he would have been turned into a meat paste by now. Should I really be worthy of being a shadow? You can break free from my shadow imitation technique so easily. Shikamaru looked at first Raikage, who charged again with some headaches. Since the opponent can break free from the first time, he can break free from the second time. Shikamaru is no longer performing family secrets, but dodging attacks while looking for a way to win. From a distance, Naruto observed all the battlefields. The situation on Shikamaru's side quickly caught his attention. To be precise, it was Shikamaru's family secret that attracted Naruto's attention. Shadow imitation is a very good field control skill, and the follow-up skills based on it also have various functions. It's a ninjutsu worth developing. Let's leave it to the avatars to develop it. As for the expansion jutsu of the Akamichi family, you can simply study it. Especially the partial expansion jutsu, it will be very useful in the future. Naruto's current ninjutsu has temporarily entered the bottleneck, and it will take a lot of effort and time to break through. In this extraordinary period, Naruto certainly doesn't have the patience to wait. Why not take this opportunity to study some useful ninjutsu and secret techniques? After all, having too many skills doesn't overwhelm one's body. As for the heart-turning technique of the Yamanaka family, there is no need for it. While the effect is fun, it doesn't make much sense to Naruto. He also didn't want to abandon his body and run to other people's bodies to play. I don't want to learn the imitation beast ninja of the Inuzuka clan. I don't want to be a beast, crawling around. Not to mention the Aburame family, I will not let my body become a nest of insects. Forget about Tien's ability ninjutsu, it has no practical significance. And compared to Konan's ninjutsu with money ability, it's still pale in comparison. Well, that's all for now. If you have a chance in the future, if you can see a suitable ninjutsu, you can download it. By the way, you can also learn Raikage's lightning style armor. When you don't use Susanoo, this thing's defense is also good, and it can further increase the speed, which is very convenient. Constantly impose homework on the clone brigades, regardless of the complaints of the clones. Naruto is totally having fun with it. With the help of the Avatar team, Naruto can completely realize all kinds of ideas in his mind with the help of the Avatar's efforts. Anyway, here in Naruto, as long as he learns ninjutsu, there will no longer be a so-called upper limit, and he can improve forever. I don't know what's going on with Uchiha Madara. Go and have a look. Naruto closed his eyes and turned his attention to Uchiha Madara. Huh. Have you successfully obtained 5 tails? The progress looks good. Exactly, 6 tails is not far from where he is now. Wait, where is Madara going? Isn't this the opposite direction? Did he not realize where 6 tails was? No. Don't let him take a detour. Naruto immediately sent a clone to appear in Uchiha Madara's field of vision. Uchiha Madara was suddenly frightened and turned around and ran away. Seeing Uchiha Madara heading to the location of 6 Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto nodded in relief. That's right, that's where you should be. After confirming that Uchiha Madara and 6 Tails Jinchuriki met, Naruto was relieved to withdraw most of his attention. Now Naruto dared not take all his attention back. I'm afraid that Uchiha Madara will go the wrong way again and waste precious time. It's really not worrying. Naruto shook his head helplessly, then opened his eyes. At this time, the fighting outside was still going on. Because of the lack of means of sealing, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama have nothing to do with it. Facing the shadows of these immune-to-death villages, Shikamaru and the others racked their brains and cooperated with each other non-stop. As for Lee, because the 8 inner gates have been turned on too much, it is now lying on the boulder next to Naruto. Now Xiao Li's whole body hurts every time he touches it. Xiao Li felt pain all over his body even when he was breathing. Although there is no need to worry about future worries, this little guy is working too hard. Senju Hashirama squatted beside Xiao Li curiously, resisting the urge to poke him. Although he was really curious about what kind of reaction Xiao Li would have if he poked him. Senju Tobarama rolled his eyes, speechlessly stopped his elder brother's childish behavior. Brother, don't mess around like a child, and let him do it for a while, at least he knows where his limit is. So as not to be unclear about your limits, it will appear to be in a dilemma when fighting. You might as well help to see if you can treat him. Senju Hashirama said awkwardly. Although I am very resilient, I will not help others recover. It's too much to do. At this time, Naruto's voice reached the ears of both of them. Here, feed this fruit to him. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama looked up and saw the fingernail-sized fruit in Naruto's hand, and they were shocked. What a strong breath of life. Senju Hashirama itself has extraordinary vitality, so it is more sensitive to the breath of life. Although Senju Tobirama is not as good as his elder brother, he is still a strong man with good strength, and he can see the extraordinariness of this fruit at a glance. Naruto threw it away and said, "Just let him eat it."